Greetings, sentient beings. This broadcast is not intended for children. There will be strong language and adult themes. And if you're not careful, you may even learn something. So we have our regular panel here today with Godless Sewing
Yay!
and Kenny Morgan.
Yay!
Hello.
So today's innovation.
And who are you? I've never heard you introduce yourself. Who are you?
Oh, damn. I wasn't prepared for the hard-hitting question.
Well,
Well, I am Purple Rhymes with Orange. I kind of figured people would know that if they came here.
we got to check.
And let's see, in the side chat, I see Greg Hartwig,
Hi,
Mark
Greg.
Caesar,
Hi, Mark.
Doc Fearsome, and
Hi,
Slim
Doc.
the Living Cyborg.
Slim, hi.
Awesome. Innovation Day, huh? So, because I am ADD, innovative, and over ambitious, I've made 3 videos in the past 6 or 7 days.
I saw that, but yeah, when I saw Innovation Day, this was one I had to jump on because it's my kind of thing. And one of my favorite authors is James Burke. He's best known for the series Connections. But he also did one called The Day the Universe Changed and The Pinball Effect. And he's done a number of them and lectured at a lot of universities. And basically, he's a scientific historian.
Oh, okay.
And what he keeps pointing out is that anyone we credit with inventing something was usually just making a small improvement on something that already existed, or taking 3 things from totally unrelated fields and tying them all together.
Oh, absolutely. That's like my Nikon camera. The only what do they really change from year to year on the Nikon? Besides the quality,
Well, yeah. With any modern consumer product, it's all incremental improvements. I mean, that's how we got from the Model T to the SUVs we've got today.
Because let me get my camera. I have, this is a first generation Sony camera. They're up to their 5th or 6th version by now, but there's no difference between this and a brand new one. And this is how long have I been on YouTube? This is 3 years old, 2 or 3 years old, and they're already up to the 4th or 5th version of this.
Oh, honey, I had one of those in the year 2000.
No, it's a 4K camera.
Oh, okay, 4K.
But it's made to look like an old school handy cam for people like you and me.
Yeah.
But it's this is a 4K. That's why my people always ask me. They're like, "Why are your videos so quality?" It's because I went out and invested in a decent camera. But I went and looked at the new camera, and there's not much features, and the same complaints that they have about the old one, they have about the new one.
It's like desktop computers have completely leveled off with their rage of improvements every 6 months. The speed is, everybody's got the same speed now, and everybody's got this solid state drives, and they've just all become the same. There's no competition. It's just you're buying a name now. You're not buying any innovations at all.
I found that out when I bought because I already have an Apple desktop, and when I went to buy this laptop, the guy was like, "You already have a desktop that's a couple years old. It's just the same thing." But it was I would be buying the same computer basically.
Mm-hmm.
Because this computer still takes all the updates. It still whiz bang. It still does all the brand new stuff. Technology's funny that way. But what innovation in your everyday life has changed your life?
Well, for me, getting my first Mac would absolutely change my life completely. It just completely reoriented and redirected my life.
Purple, has there been anything that's ever a technology or anything where you've been like, wow, this has improved my life?
Well, people think about the big things, about, the cell phones and computers and the cars, and that's all the obvious stuff. but there is so much, technology that didn't exist a century ago that we take for granted, like things like Ziploc bags to keep food fresh.
Mm-hmm. For me, it's medical technology. Just in my lifetime, I've seen medical technology go leaps and bounds from what it was when I was a kid.
Well, and again, Jenny and I are each doing weekly injections, and that's the disposable syringes and needles. I don't know.
Oh,
when
thanks
that
for reminding
became
me. I have to do mine today.
Yep, I'll have to do mine this evening.
I would not be here if it wasn't for medical intervention, modern day medical intervention, says the guy who's smoking a joint.
Yeah. Well, my fiance wouldn't have lived long enough for me to meet her without all that.
That's what I'm saying. I think sometimes we take for granted. I take everything in my life. I take for granted. My car, my microwave, my phone. I expect them to work. My cell service, all of it. I've become very much a modern day human. And 10 years ago, I was anti-cell phone.
Yeah, I remember when they first came out, thinking that, geez, there's just so few people that are important enough to need a cell phone,
Exactly.
Okay, Slim, how can you be drunk and at work? That's usually a combination that's not allowed.
Yeah, I know. I tried to change it. Oh, it didn't change it though. Oh well.
I changed the policy at my job though, because we're not allowed to you're not allowed to smoke unless everybody agrees. And so everybody in my shop smokes cigarettes. So by proxy, I can walk in there smoking a J.
Nice.
Did you see there was photographs circulating the internet of Snoop Dogg smoking a doob before the halftime show?
I salute that man. I salute.
I just think it was there's people getting so upset about it and said, hey, that's legal in California.
And I'm going to tell you, and it's normal with Snoop. Like I'm not saying this to be weird, but if you go to any of the major beaches, go in the parking lot. How many people are hitting their joints before they go to the main strip? How many people are walking down the street just smoking a J,
I mean, even in the 90s in California on the beach, you could find the little groups of punk kids or whatever. I mean, we were even doing it back then. So I don't know why people are surprised about people smoking weed.
Big time.
Well, I mean, I was in high school in the late 70s, early 80s, and there was always, you knew where to find them. There was always a group of kids sitting around smoking them.
And also, during the Super Bowl halftime show, it was a huge culture clash. Because, like I always say, I'm friends with a wide array of people, and I'm friends with a lot of old Jewish ladies, and they were freaking out. They're like, oh, this is the worst halftime show ever. Everyone I know in their 40s was like, we are revisiting high school. So to people my age, it was like, this is awesome. And when I saw 50 Cent got fat, I was like, oh, he's one of us. He gained weight. But it was more of a generational thing. It wasn't like, I don't know, they weren't there to insult people. Rap still exists. And because I watched the Super Bowl with my mom, I was able to look at my mom and be like, rap, because she told me rap was going to fail in 1989. So in 2022, I turned and looked at her. I said, rap's failed, huh? Good times. Jenny, please tell me you watched the halftime show.
No, I didn't.
Nope.
I really regret having seen it though. I've been looking for a replay.
Mary J. Blige came out looking amazing.
Yeah, she is amazing. Wow.
Goddess. It was awesome.
She's 50 years old.
Yeah. And what's sad is so is Snoop Dogg, and he looks terrible.
Well, it's a rough life for the dogger.
If you see him without his movie makeup on when he has a bun in his hair, he looks like my aunt. Oh, Snoop's had a hard life.
Well, yeah, to some degree, that's kind of what he did to himself with the drugs, though.
I agree with you. I look in the mirror and say the same thing about myself sometimes. Yeah, he definitely, because I recently saw a picture and I asked the A word how old he was, and I was shocked. Alexa, how old is Snoop Dogg?
Snoop Dogg is 50 years old.
I thought he was 51. He's 50 years old. I seen Willie Nelson in person, and Willie Nelson was wrinkly, but he didn't even look that bad. And for the record, Willie Nelson came to my small town, and his tour bus reeked of weed. And Willie Nelson's an absolute legend.
Did they arrest him again recently?
I wouldn't be surprised. He walks around like Whitney Houston with drugs in his purse.
Yeah, I think like 2 months ago or something. He got busted.
You know it's true, Jenny. You know it's true.
Yeah.
Look, I'm cocky. I'm cocky as hell. I don't smoke joints in my car. I don't light up around police. There's certain things you don't do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you're cocky, I'm like, you cocky mother. Whitney Houston was a legend. She got arrested with cocaine and weed and said, I'm Whitney Houston.
Yeah, well, what's her name? Reese Witherspoon got arrested for some traffic thing or drunk driving, and said, "Do you know who I am?" And they said, "No."
I've seen that video. It's ugly. It's ugly when people when people are like, "Do you know who I am?" I actually almost got in a fight with someone from the Road Rules because they said that, and I knew who they were, and I said no. Because they were trying to, like, a friend of mine, I have a very attractive friend, and she takes me places with her so that guys won't talk to her. And this guy just wouldn't get the clue, and I got up in his face. I was like, you need to back off. And he's like, do you know who I am? And I'm like, no. And he got more mad because I told him no, you know. Fame is fleeting. I'm from LA. Like, my neighbor across the street writes for CSI and has a, what are those called? What are the TV awards?
Emmy?
Yes, in his house. You know, everyone's kind of famous around here.
Well, I don't know. I tend to make it a habit of anytime I've met a celebrity, and if you get the "Do you know who I am" thing, or if the situation's right, you just deny knowledge of whoever they are, even if you know them.
Exactly. And I go by the scale of, like, I met Paul McCartney, and he was the most humble human being I've ever met in my life. Richard Dreyfuss, I always say Mr. Cooper. Like, I met these people, they were so nice. So when I meet someone, like some nobody, and they're like, do you know who I am? I'm like, no, I don't. No, dude. But there's a certain arrogance that comes with everybody kissing your ass. God, I have Norman Greenbaum stuck in my head. Oh, Jenny hates Norman Greenbaum. It's a bit of a religious song. Purple, do you listen to do you listen to any, like, spiritual music at all?
Not intentionally, no.
If like some like classic, like if Spirit in the Sky came on, would you still rock that song?
Don't even know the song you mean offhand.
It's a semi-religious song, but I love it. Slim, would you rock out to Spirit in the Sky? Even if you don't believe in it?
There is some gospel music I can enjoy just for the music, without any real meaning to it.
Yeah, I think I would rock out to that. I think I know what song you're speaking about.
I like random music. I listen to, like, Gut Bucket Country. I'm into thrash metal. I'm into all kinds of music, and, like, I won't turn a song down just if it rocks, it rocks, you know. If it bangs, it bangs. I'll listen to almost anything.
Yeah, there's only a couple of genres of music that I can't actually get into, but I can listen to almost everything. For only a little period of time. I usually can't listen to like certain types of heavy metal for too long, like the same type of heavy metal in a row. But I can pretty much listen to almost anything. I began playing saxophone in elementary school, and then guitar, bass, drums. I have 10 albums out right now. 3 of them are remix albums, so I can produce music. So I enjoy everything. And if you're a producer, you have to enjoy where music came from. So exactly. I understand what classical music is made from, or how it was structured and why it evolved into whatever. Same with blues and R&B and early Americana music and stuff. You have to enjoy that to know where we've come from.
For the most part, I listen to music when I'm driving. And if you went through the list for my stick that I use in the car, it's a pretty eclectic mix of all sorts of things.
It depends on like I have like road trip music, certain songs I listen to on road trips, but I'm all over the place.
I mainly listen to electro swing right now.
Oh hell yeah.
I've never heard of that.
It's like old school swing music from the 20s and 30s, but it's with modern drum beats, or it's more techno-y a little bit. The drum beats are more modern with like saxophones or trumpets or other things like that. In a minute, I'll look up a band or two, and I'll send you or I'll put in the private chat maybe a couple names of bands or artists that you can check out. And that's what I'm really into right now, because it's a mixture of really awesome worlds. And I have a thing with the Prohibition era right now. So that's where a lot of swing kind of came from.
I know what you're saying. Like right now, I'm on this really weird kick of I'm obsessed right now with like early 1980s soul bands like Shalimar, the Gap Band. Like if you watch my videos, you'll see, because I put them in all of my videos. I have fallen in love with the end of the disco era, the beginning of the wah wah sound, you know. Dynasty. I've been listening to a lot of Shalimar lately, a lot. But that's what got me back into like Norman Greenbaum and that whole era.
Mm-hmm.
So Jenny, before you jumped off, would you listen to a song like Spirit in the Sky? Would you, even though you don't believe in it, would you still rock out to something like that?
Well, that particular song I do. I have it on my playlist.
I love that song. And I had this
I really do think it's one of the best entry guitar riffs ever written.
Heck yeah. That's what I'm saying. You see, I appreciate stuff like that. Like I listen to old school Van Halen because I listen to the music and I'm like, no one can play this except for Van Halen. And I saw a guy in Vegas do the Eruption. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm just saying, like, it takes real skill. And especially like with today's music, because I'm really into rap, and modern rap is just auto-tune and some kid on a bunch of drugs, blah, 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 blah,
Yeah, they call it, there's mumble rap, which is horrible. That's what my girlfriend's son does. It is, to listen to him practice is not fun.
It makes me feel old, because I try not to, I try not to clown people, because I'm into weird stuff. Like, who am I to judge, but it's not my thing. It makes me feel so old, because I try to get into it and I'm like, I can't do this. I can't not do this.
Well, one thing for me is with very few exceptions, the lyrics are really important to me. I like ballads. I like a song that tells a story.
Absolutely. I'm obsessed with Faith No More. You should definitely get into Faith No More. Mike Patton has a ton of bands. Peeping Tom.
Let me tell you a little story about a man named Jeb.
Well, I actually like some of the older country, like from the 60s to the 80s country.
Oh, Earl Flatten, Earl Flatten, Scruggs.
Scruggs.
Yeah.
Oh, heck
No.
yeah.
Flatten Scruggs.
But like C.W. McCall and even some of the Tom T. Hall.
I have Flatten Scruggs at Carnegie Hall. You should definitely listen to that. It's something worth listening to. And Purple, I'm surprised. Are you into Johnny Horton? Johnny
Yep,
Horton.
I got some of his stuff on my stick.
I love Johnny Horton and Marty Robbins. Big
What
iron
about-
on it.
What about Fat Swaller?
Oh gosh.
I love Fat.
Have you ever got into Mojo Nixon and the Toad Lickers?
The name sounds familiar. I think so.
He was around forever. And he really didn't get famous until the internet came out, and he got a wider audience,
Yeah.
But he is absolutely hilarious. He has a song called Machines Ain't Music. And he goes off about how, like if you can't, what does he say? Oh, he says machine can't get drunk, and machines ain't a machine can't go out the back door and try to fuck your wife. Like it's just a great it's psychobilly. Just
I got some Ray Stevens on there too.
I love Ray Stevens.
He's got one called Coin Machines, which is all about how vending machines rip you off.
I weirdly listen to a lot of No Effects too, but I think that's more regional because I'm from Southern California. Because when I traveled around the world, no one had ever heard of that band.
Yeah, and Deftones.
Oh, I thought Deftones were famous, and I went overseas, and people were like, "Who's the Deftones?"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what I thought too, growing up in San Diego, and same with like a handful of other bands, like Real Big Fish.
Oh yeah,
a couple of the other bands. I thought they were actually famous, but you go anywhere out of California, and nobody knows who they are.
I have a good friend. She's Oregon famous. Whenever I go anywhere with her in Oregon, people are walking up to her. Hey, you had a great show. We come down here. She's like that Pablo Escobar meme, just sitting there waiting for people to walk up to her.
We had one local group in Milwaukee that I listened to and followed a little bit. Somebody called the Violent Femmes.
Oh, Violent Femmes are awesome.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I knew several of the members. I used to get backstage and shoot them a lot. And
nice.
Yeah, it was kind of fun.
The Descendants, but they're Colorado. They're more known in Colorado. But if you don't know who they are, yeah,
I know all about the Descendants.
Which is cool because once I moved out here and I was hanging out at a friend's house, we called the 420 house, and we're all playing music for a couple months straight with this one dude. And he goes outside to go smoke a cigarette, and this kid is just like flipping his shit. He's like, oh my God. And we're like, what's wrong with you, kid? He's like, do you know who we're playing music with? And I'm like, Carl. And he's like, yeah, Carl Alvarez from the Descendants. And I'm like, that's Carl? Oh crap. And so we've been playing music with him for like months and didn't even know who he was or didn't care, you know what I'm saying? But it was hilarious to be like, oh my God, we've been jamming with him. And then we found out later he was practicing some of his songs they were going to put on the record with us. So when the record came out, we were like, oh, I played that song before they put it down. Yeah.
That's so awesome. I met Danzig the same way, where he literally had to be like, I'm Danzig. Because people don't look like what you think. And then you see how they looked 20 years ago and they don't look the same.
Yeah, totally.
You know, look up your favorite actor, actress, right? See what they look like right now. I guarantee they don't look like how they did 20 years ago. I recently saw a picture of Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell, and I didn't recognize either one of them.
Yeah, age has not been kind to Goldie Hawn.
No, but she had a ton of plastic surgery, and she lives in the right place because everybody kind of looks like that after a certain age here. So she's okay. That's what happens, though. Plastic surgery, like anything else, becomes an addiction.
Oh, but it's a good addiction.
Cars are cheaper. More grief. Now I have Norman Greenbaum just cemented in my skull. I don't have a problem with spiritual music. I'm not one of those people that hears something religious and is instantly like turns into a vampire.
I will tend to turn the religious stuff off, but like I said, there are some that I can appreciate.
Well,
I can appreciate some of the gospel singing just because of the beautiful low tones.
Like, I'm not saying that I'm listening to like you know, oh, what's that one band that got really famous for that song? This is how you Nickelback. I'm not listening to Nickelback or anything, you know. I'm just saying, like, there are certain songs I won't turn down just if they come from a certain genre. And I'm like that. I think modern country is crap, but every once in a while I'll hear a song where I'm like, oh, this bangs, this rocks, you know.
For me, it's mostly about my hearing sensitivity, actually, that, you know, it's got to be a reasonable volume. I can't stand anything played too loud, and I can't take anything shrill or high pitch.
Oh, you would hate Cannibal Corpse then.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I have a Cannibal Corpse obsession, but I don't know. I'm one of those weird people who I love screamy, throaty, angry music.
Well, it's also why I don't really, I can't really handle anything that's too techno because it tends to always get to be kind of shrill and harsh.
I had a really weird acid trip one time, and so techno got to me. It got to me. So every once in a while, I have a flashback if a certain song comes on or something.
I used to DJ electro funky house.
Oh, hell yeah.
Something like that. So it was like funky disco house and stuff like that. At the gay clubs, of course.
I missed that whole era.
I worked at a lesbian bar, the largest lesbian bar in San Diego, for a hot minute being a DJ out on their back porch. That was lots of fun. It's the only unfun part was when the girls would get drunk and just break up with their girlfriend and start trying to hit on me, being like, I've never been with a man. Maybe I should try it. And I'm like, no, honey, no, I am not going to be your first. That's not how this works, dude. I'm not going to be that person. So I had to like turn down so many lesbians because they were just getting the mood. And, I dress in dresses and I dress feminine, and, I don't always look like a boy. So, they were like, oh, maybe I can try. And I'm like, nope, that's not how this works. I'm working here.
I've had to tell a few lesbians, I'm not going to be your purse. I am not going to be your... No way. No way.
Yeah.
Well, it's different. Like, I have a good friend. See, but it's different. I've known her forever, and she knows who and what I am. So there's no, like, weirdness behind it. Like, I go places with her just because... she's really hot, and guys are scandalous. Dudes are they think if a woman's beautiful, that automatically that woman wants them, or their bullshit charm is somehow gonna win that person over.
Yeah, it's redonkulous when you see that. Or when we had the lesbian bar in Fort Collins next to Washington's, there used to be like a hazing ritual for new bros, and their friends would tell them, hey, go into this bar and go hit on the chicks. It's a bar full of women. You're going to get laid easy. And these dumbasses don't know, and they go in there and they're like, oh yeah. And then as soon as they start hitting on somebody, it's like, we've got to like throw them out and be like, no, bro, you're not in a place where you could hit on people.
Dude, keep that up. You're going to get a shank.
Yeah. Well,
see, that's why bars are well labeled. That's why bars should be well labeled.
Yeah. Well, they should have known there's a big, huge gay flag out in front, rainbow flag, and I mean, when you walk in, it's all females. What do you think is happening? You know, I mean, and there's gay signs everywhere. There's
Well,
rainbow
it's
flag
ladies'
neon
night. That's all.
signs. Yeah, exactly. It's just ladies.
Some people are just fucking dense. Like some
Yeah.
people, like I don't smoke cigarettes anymore, but I always say if you get bored, go stand in front of a building and see how many people push instead of pull. Where the
Yeah.
sign clearly people just don't pay attention at all.
Exactly.
Especially it's the cocky, arrogant ones. And I am semi-cocky.
Yep.
And so you'll do things without thinking, you know.
Or how
Yeah.
many people will go up to the door that has a sign that clearly says use other door?
Oh, that drives me crazy.
Yeah.
This I teach my son that. I'm like, no, read the sign. What does the sign say? I used to always, before I got my upgrade in my job, I was always doing maintenance, and there was always that one person who wouldn't read my sign. Like, wait 10 minutes, I'll be done. Wait 15 minutes, I'll fix the light, I'll be out of here.
Yeah.
You know? Do I still have it? And I have a big pylon caution sign. Well, it's on the side of the house. It's the size of a door. So if you walk around that, like you're saying I'm an a-hole. It's true. It's true. That's the one thing I don't miss about being in the field is people that just flat out don't care. I did a lot of painting, and you'd be surprised how many people do not read wet paint signs.
Yeah. Oh, I've been there with a lot of stuff of people coming through when a project was half finished and just destroying the whole thing.
Oh, it drives me crazy. Oh, that reminds me. I have to redo my living room. That's the last Brady Bunch piece of my house. I'm truly thinking about selling my house while I can get $900,000 for it or somewhere in that realm. So I'm fixing up my house, and if I don't sell it, I'll have an even better house. It's part of my midlife crisis, though. Instead of a fast car, I'm gonna buy an Indian motorcycle. Every Harley I've ever owned is a broken down piece of crap.
Yeah, Indians seem to be pretty good right now since they've revamped the company and everything.
And that's another thing. I'm gonna buy a brand new one. Every one I've ever had was one of my dad's old ones, or like a Frankenstein that one of his buddies built or something, you know. And those are good motorcycles, but you know, Harley, as they say, like, if you own a Harley, you become a technician because you're working on it so much.
And all the parts, they're built here, but all the parts are made overseas in different places. So it's not.
Oh, sorry.
So it's American, but it's technically not. I mean,
Well, they sold Harley.
Yeah. More like assembled in the U.S., not made in the U.S.
That's like, I buy DVDs, but when's the last time, and I don't know if anyone else does, when's the last time you bought a DVD and it wasn't made in Mexico? Every DVD
I can't say I've looked that closely at most of them.
I'm weird like that. I look where everything's from. And
Hey, Jenny, having problems with your connection today?
Yeah, it seems so.
Yeah, but so much of the stuff we get, you know, is just assembled in the U.S. from parts made in Mexico or made in China.
Oh, absolutely. Really quick, Mark Caesar, if I was to grow my hair out, I would look like a 1970s soul singer. I am completely bald up to here, and I'm completely bald in the back here. So my fro isn't even anymore. And if I would have a full head of hair right now if I didn't have such huge bald spots. I miss my hair.
You should make a toupee out of AstroTurf, and you could look like a Fiat.
Remember when it was rare that a man would cut all his hair off, would go bald?
Yeah.
Actually, I do. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I give credit for most of that to Patrick Stewart. He was the one who made bald sexy.
I agree with you because in my day, my uncle, who is Mexican, he's Caucasian appearing. People would call him a skinhead because he shaved his head. And this was like late 80s, early 90s. And now it's not uncommon for a Caucasian person to have a shaved head at all.
Well, yes, there was Telly Savalas. Forgot about him.
Thank you, dog. I love Telly Savalas. Every time I'm turning into him.
Yeah, really. I feel until Star Trek Next Generation came out, that men were really had a lot of hang-ups about going bald. It just wasn't something that any guy thought was going to look good.
Absolutely. Styles change though. It's so funny. Fashion is really reciprocal. We're not dressing like pirates, but the styles from the 60s and 70s have come and gone at least 3 or 4 times. But it took a while for the Johnny Unitas high and tight haircut to go away. Like it took a long time. And so now we're more accepting of people who shaved their head. And plus, I'm telling you, like, I'm bald. I look crazy with hair. Like, I literally have an island all the way down here and it comes bald all the way up to here. I look crazy.
Oh, the other thing is that, the bald look is even going for some women.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, in the African-American community, that's not something that's been around for a long time. So, like in LA, it's not rare to see a woman with a shaved head.
Yeah, well, I know it's been around more, but it still generally wasn't something that they went out in public with. That most of them did it because it was easier for managing a variety of wigs.
Yeah.
It really upsets my binary sensibilities.
Bald women?
Yep.
Yeah.
I would totally.
Just being honest.
I would totally date a bald woman. And she would love coming to my house. I own over like 80 hats. I have every color Dodger hat you could possibly think of. So, Mark Caesar, the mullet in America kind of has returned, especially where Jenny lives. We call it hockey hair. There's high school kids. In Minnesota, their high school hockey tournaments are held in where the Minnesota Wild play. They put it on the NHL channel, and these kids show up with these epic mullets. Epic. If you ever get bored, Google it. I'm sorry, put it on YouTube. It's amazing how huge these people's mullets are.
I hate the mullet. I think it's just the worst, one of the worst hairstyles. And the only thing worse than that is the what do they call it today, where you shave half your head and the rest is long hair. I forget it.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure what that one's called.
Oh, wow.
The mullet never went away. In the southeast United States, it's always been. And that's part of it, is that it has such a strong association with just being redneck gun-toting nuts.
Absolutely. Hey, Demon Orb. Absolutely. The mullet reminds me of early 90s hockey. Like Jaromir Jagr, Mario Lemieux. That is just quintessential 1990s hockey. Oh. And I watch a lot of Australian television, Mark Caesar. There's a few people in Australia that still rock the mullet. You know what? I talk trash about bell bottoms until I made a pair and fell in love with them, and I still wear my bell bottoms. I might make bell bottoms part 2 video.
Bell bottoms are a lot safer when you've got an automatic.
An automatic what?
Bell bottoms and stick shifts in cars didn't go together well.
Oh, I never had any problems.
You never caught the shifter in your bell bottoms?
No,
Huh.
no. What's my bell bottom doing up there?
Well, you're tall. Purple and I are the.
I'm 5'9".
Oh, we're all the same height. You're still tall. You're tall, Jenny. We're tall. You look tall.
Cool.
See, why does 5'9" look so tall? We're all the exact same height.
Well, 5'9's considered on the taller end for women, but it's pretty much average for men in the U.S.
I had an ex-girlfriend where we were eye to eye, and everyone told her like, "Oh, you're so tall," and I'm like, "You're not. Like, we're literally the exact same height, flat-footed too."
Ask Alexa what the average height for an American male is.
Alexa, what's the average height for an American male?
On average, men in the United States are 5 feet 9 inches tall.
Alexa, what's the average height for men worldwide?
On average, men in the United States are 5 feet 9 inches tall. Did that answer your question?
No, but thank you.
I'm 5'7".
So in America, the average height is 5'9". That's great. Around the world, it's 5'9" as well.
Yeah, I don't see how that can be possible.
No, I think that's off. I think that the average for the U.S. is a bit taller than the average worldwide.
Yeah, because we're big. Like here in LA.
Well, just because, especially like Asian countries bring the average down a bit. Of course, that's changed a lot too. That, Asians used to be considerably shorter, but, in the last 40 years, they've really taken a big jump in their average height.
Do you know when I went to the UK, people in London made me feel short. I felt like I was in LA all over again. But then, like, I went to a certain Middle Eastern country and I felt tall. I was a little bit taller than everybody else. Everybody was around 5'6", 5'7". And I was, with my cowboy boots on, I was taller than everybody else. It's weird, depending on what region you live, It's just weird. And I would think in America we are larger. When I say larger, I mean taller than the average country.
Well, I think larger in other respects too. Like, I'm sure the average weight for an American is higher than it is worldwide.
We've had that title for over 20 years.
Yeah.
So that there was one year I read Scientific America. So if you're wondering where I'm getting this, it's from Scientific America. There was one year in the past 20 years, 25, where a country super succeeded us as far as weight, and that was Mexico. That's because we gave them our fast food 20 something years ago. So they have their food and our food, and they beat us one year, and then we beat them again as far as the fattest country in the world. And having lived in Mexico, they have some of the greatest food in the world. So that place will make you fat.
Now, see, I could go for some, more authentic Mexican rather than the Tex-Mex or Taco Bell stuff we get.
Oh, the real deal. It's, once you get the real deal, you'll be like, oh, what is this crud?
Yeah.
I eat.
I know enough to know there's a difference. I just don't have any good recipes.
I am obsessed with chorizo, okay? Which is basically ground pork or beef. It's like in a sausage skin. You mix it up with egg or you cook it by itself. I mix it with hamburgers sometimes. When we recently got a Hispanic grocery store called Vallarta. We've had it for a while. They have authentic, real deal Hispanic food. When I started eating their chorizo, I never bought store brand chorizo ever again. Ever again. It's an insult to chorizo. But I didn't know any better because I was an American. And then I got the real deal stuff, and it's cheaper and better made and just authentic. It's unreal how good the chorizo is. But I'm biased because I grew up near Mexico and lived in Mexico, so I judge every town. If you don't have decent Mexican food, I will judge you.
Same here. Same here.
Do they have decent Mexican food in Colorado?
Not where I live. Not in Fort Collins.
I would, when I lived in
No 24
Oregon, it was
hour.
like that too. You're roboting, kind of.
Testing
Jenny,
1, 2.
Jenny, do you have Mexican food where you live?
No, not really. There's a couple. There's a place in Winona, and I think there's a place or two in La Crosse, but nothing that I've ever heard anybody rave about. We have Taco John's.
Hey, I smoke weed. That sounds right up my alley.
Oh, Taco John's is so much better than Taco Bell.
I don't eat Taco Bell because it's gross. I do not subject myself. And plus, in California, our prices are so high for fast food that it's almost the same as sitting down at a fancy restaurant. So I would much rather go sit down than eat Taco Bell.
Well, where we were living in Michigan, we had to drive an hour into Wisconsin for the nearest Walmart, but the town we went to did have a good, actual, authentic Mexican restaurant that was, run by a Mexican family. And the way you can always tell if a Mexican restaurant is authentic is when you go in the bathroom. If most of the graffiti is in Spanish, you're probably in a good place.
Yes,
absolutely.
I totally agree with that.
So true.
There was this Peruvian restaurant that opened in a suburb of Milwaukee in West Allis that I started going to just before I left town, and it was really good. And I asked them if they would provide one of the national foods of Peru, and they said, well, we'll see what we can do about that. And it was a difficult thing because the national food I was talking about was fried guinea pig.
Hey, I always say, I do not judge other cultures. I've been places where they eat monkey meat on a stick. I am no one to judge anything.
Well, that is why they are called guinea pigs, actually.
Well, it's a common food. They live wild.
Really quick, Commander 401, that was a legendary game, and I am jealous. I know exactly what you're talking about. When you said Tara Lipinski, I instantly pictured the game. Oh my gosh. Okay, sorry.
Tara Lipinski.
Hockey. We were talking about the hockey hair, and Commander 401 was at a very very awesome game. I'm a Kings fan, so when the playoffs come, our tickets go to like $3,000, $4,000.
Why do I know the name Tara Lipinski?
She was a ice skater. Hey, Doc.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Doc.
In hockey, you'll make fun of somebody, call them, Michelle Kwan or something. Like Michelle Kwan will skate better than you can. I need to get back in my league, my old man league. You would cry at some of the things that people say to each other. Oh, I miss that. How's it going, Doc?
Well, Doc, take your medications.
I'm taking mine right now.
What if your medication is human blood?
Well, you got to do what you got to do.
Hey, go hang out at the hospital. Or you could do it like Blade. I still have. You know what's really funny? Let's have a talk. So I know there's really, really weird things in movies where people are like, "Oh, I don't know, is it the second Blade or the third Blade where they have all those people in the warehouse and they're getting their blood taken out. I have nightmares about that.
Oh yeah, the farm. I
Yeah.
think it was the second one.
Yeah, and it's not even intense. That would be torture. Or like in Star Trek, where that one space station will give you anything you want, but they have to take one of your crewmen. And of course, it was Travis in Enterprise.
Well, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Doc Fearsome does, like, will capture criminals, and he's like telepathic and controls or influences fear and stuff, right? So he will telepathically lock them into like a nightmare, and then just keep feeding on their adrenaline. What?
Aren't you Doc Fearsome?
Doc Fearsome is a fictional character I created. There's a story. It's still a work in progress, but there's a backstory.
So this week he's fictional.
No, I'm trying to think.
Okay, that makes me wonder what you did between last Thursday and now. That now you gotta claim he's fictional.
Hey, Robert.
Maybe over the past week I just been wanting to be less and less real.
No, I think we need to check how many people have gone missing in Iowa in the last week.
I heard of two high school students and 5 cows.
Oh, I have sewing machines. Don't wander near my house. I have sewing machines and an eye bolt and a chain. Don't go wandering near my house. I haven't made the eye bolt and chain joke in a long time.
Oh, I just heard a news story on CNN. Some little girl who was kidnapped in 2018. She was 4 years old at the time. Was found yesterday.
Oh my gosh!
And she was being kept under a stairway.
Ooh.
Although she seemed to be in good health.
Stockholm
Syndrome. It's still an illegal abduction, of course.
Yeah.
Stockholm Syndrome. You started identifying with your captures after a while, you know?
Yeah. People who do that kind of shit should be thrown in jail forever.
I'm a bit more harsh, but I agree with you. When I lived in Central California, in Stockton, California. I was working at a factory, and 3 blocks from my old house, there was a man who had a woman in his backyard for over 15 years. And one day she broke out and ran down the street.
Oh, yeah. I heard about that one.
I lived literally in that man's neighborhood. It was just like this. A clean, quiet neighborhood. Like, it's always the quiet ones. But yeah, I was there when that happened. It was a big deal. It was a big deal.
Oh, it was a big deal everywhere, as it should be.
He kept her like a wild animal. You know,
Insanity.
Crazy. That's
why I'm so terrified of humans. You may not realize this, but us urban horrors, we're just as afraid of our prey as they are of us.
That's how it...
Oh, I get you. Humans are scary as shit.
They're fucking terrifying. They'll fucking mutilate your genitals when you're a baby.
I was thinking about this the other day in one of my like joint smoking moments. Like, do you know, to every other animal on Earth, we have to be the scariest thing that has ever like there, you know, There's a bird telling another bird, hey, stay away from those fleshy bags. They throw things and they have sticks that shoot things at you. Like, they're crazy. Our species is crazy.
Well, and the crazy is the problem, because most other animals, you know, you can predict, and you know, most of them will avoid a conflict if they can, unless they, desperately need food or something.
Absolutely.
Humans will go and attack with no provocation.
Exactly. That's what drives me crazy. Or like for a while when people were randomly knocking each other out here in Los Angeles, people were walking down the street with their fists up. Like, I wish a mother effer would.
There's something I've been wondering for many years. Like the whole human consciousness and the way we do things, even however sophisticated and advanced humans seem to be, and however great their accomplishments, I still wonder if the whole thing isn't some kind of vast mental disorder. Like we're apes, but with this weird mental disorder that gives us just our sophisticated language or sophisticated behavior.
Would you say a superiority
You're right, Doc. It's called evolution.
Yeah.
No, but I wonder if it's just something that has gone awry, comparably awry, comparable to other primates.
Well, as a species, we haven't lost. Like, we would have to face our mortality if we like, let's say if half the population died right now, we would have to face our own mortality. But as a species, we haven't had a massive wipeout event like what we do to other animals. There's nothing bigger than us besides nature that wipes us out, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
well,
not yet.
And this is why Christianity has become the dominant religion, because it justifies us going and taking over the neighboring nations.
Survival is not superiority, though.
Yeah.
Like, our species has survived. That's not saying that we're superior. We just adapt to our surroundings.
Now teach the humans that.
Because if
they need to learn that.
If we kill all the cows, we won't be so superior. If we destroy the land and can't farm it anymore, our superiority goes away.
No more oxygen, no more us.
Yeah, exactly. No more trees.
We kill cows.
The main thing we need to learn is that we don't need to be as many as we have become.
Oh, that's most certainly true.
Because the planet just can't support us in these numbers.
Well, see, that's what I hate about religious zealots or really religious people is their Bible, even in different religions, says, make more babies because then and we have more of us. And so these people are still grabbing onto that and thinking that it's prevalent. It's like, no, we already have too many people. We don't need more people.
Well, because all of that was written during times of constant tribal warfare.
Yep.
So you need to be constantly increasing your population so you can outnumber the other tribes.
Yeah, and
plus
when you're in the desert and you have to, you don't have a big population, and then if all of your kids die, you have 12 kids and only one of them survives. Yeah, you want to have a litter of children.
And in modern day, go ahead, Doc.
Plus, in the first place, it all stems from primal reproductive instinct. So we're like any other animal, constantly driven to reproduce. It's the impetus behind so much human behavior. All of the coupling, all of what humans call romance and romantic love, and that storybook fantasy. It's nothing more than reproductive instinct.
I agree with you, Doc. I'm just...
That's what I think.
I'm stretching my legs.
Well, yeah, that's the basis for it, because, that's the most basic urge of any life form is to reproduce. Even more so than self-survival, as, there's a lot of species that can be shown to be in the extreme, that the males especially don't necessarily even care about their own survival as long as they have a chance to mate.
Cuttlefish, since everyone's been obsessed with cuttlefish lately, cuttlefish are like that. I heard a really shitty argument about, I watch a lot of TERFs, to see what the new arguments are, and they're all getting stuck on cuttlefish, but it proves more that there's that animals can transition. A cuttlefish will
The
pretend
TERFs
to.
are stuck on cuttlefish.
So a cuttlefish male will pretend to be a female in order to get near a female. And so they're using that as the bathroom fight. It's a fucking fish.
Oh,
It's
and
a
Yeah.
cuttlefish.
Cuttlefish are really masters of this because, they can change their coloration and their skin patterns for camouflage and such.
Cuttlefish are
And
awesome.
A cuttlefish is actually capable of splitting its body bilaterally and displaying different color patterns on each
Yep.
side.
Yep.
So it can get between a female and a larger male and be indicating to the larger male that it's female and be indicating to the female that's male at the same time.
I watched a 3-hour documentary the other day on this.
That's crazy.
I have.
Well, the TERFs are just upset because what they really understand is that the cuttlefish and that behavior is so far advanced and sophisticated over what humans do. It's unbelievable. It's indescribable.
So
And they're
they're
just-
So you see, other animals have their own kind of sophistication. Us
much
humans
so.
being sophisticated doesn't necessarily mean we're so different.
No.
So
Of course.
it's just a particular type of it. It might be a kind of insanity.
Well, somebody needs to point out to the TERFs that
they're full of shit.
they're going to use the cuttlefish for an example. That seriously undermines their argument that it's unnatural. Because if we can show it that it's occurring in a species that is as far from completely unrelated to us as you can get on this planet and still happening, it's a pretty basic thing in life.
So
Well, that's
with-
because
I have-
the cuttlefish are cephalopods and they're not of this earth. They're all from a different planet.
So I think with this particular argument, they have conceded that fact because they've gone beyond that and they're saying they're doing this to be a predator. But from my observation in modern day terms, they are the predators. Do you know online, you have to find someone to tell them that you don't like them. You have to go out and seek somebody and say, hey, I don't like you for who you are. And that's what they do.
Wait, cuttlefish are not doing this to be a predator. They don't act female to get next to the females, per se. They act female to get past larger, more aggressive males. They still have to do the standard courtship with the female before a female will accept them.
Yes. And that's where the argument starts unraveling. But you have to know that these people are led by hatred. So any little straw they can grasp on, they will clutch onto and write a book about it. Look at Matt Walsh. Right now, Matt Walsh got famous for being an a-hole on Dr. Phil, and he's everywhere. Everywhere. And he's going to write a book. Oh, and also, I got this from Samantha Lux, but Matt Walsh is going around looking for people in the LGBTQIA plus community for a documentary. I can't remember the name of his fake company, but there's a fake company going around looking for specifically trans people, but also looking for people of color.
What's significant is that they have camouflaged themselves as a pro-trans group when they're anti-trans, and are not telling the people who are volunteering for the video that they are anti-trans. They plan to use all sorts of language play games and things to fool them into saying things that they can then cut up and make into an anti-trans film.
Yeah, so buyer beware. Stay away from those people.
Their plot has pretty much been foiled because it got out.
What was the name of that organization?
I have to look it up because I was watching it before the stream started. Then I smoked 4 joints.
Yeah, let us know about that, because I'd like to do a segment on them to expose them for sheep in wolves clothing or whatever.
It just bothers me because I actually work with an organization where we go out and help people on the streets. And what if someone turns down services because they think that we're a part of that, or that it's just it's more harmful than anything else.
Well, it definitely needs to be advertised, like on Twitter and other social media about who they are. So, like Jenny was saying, that people don't volunteer for that documentary not knowing what their organization really is.
Let me do some Google foo. Because I was watching the video earlier. But yeah, I watch these people because I want to know what the new arguments are. And there's a lot of people, race baiters and all those people. Like, I want to know what the new arguments are. But with the race baiters, it's the same old argument, so it's boring. They're almost like flat earthers.
Well, it's the same old argument that they apply to every marginalized group. They say the same thing about blacks as they do about gay people, as they do about trans people. They just change the pronoun.
Yeah, they've just got a script that's like a Mad Lib that you change the name in the blank.
But Matt Walsh is the kind of person where if 70 years ago he would have been trying to hang someone that looks like me. So Matt Walsh is one of those people that no matter what, he will always go after a marginalized community. He's a creep. I think he's a creep.
Well, yeah, because some people can only feel better about themselves by kicking someone else down.
Do you know what I do? It's this weird thing. It's this really weird thing. I mind my own business. I know it's weird. I live my own little world. I sew, but I try not to judge other people to the point where it affects my life. That person's outfit was terrible or something, but I'm not going to like tell them or go out of my way to be an a-hole or something,
Well, the major thing that these people forget or they don't think about because they're so self-centered or so engulfed in their little echo chamber is it takes a village, not just to raise a child, but to have a society. So you have to have people of every type of something. You got to have the baker, the butcher, the candle maker. You have to have everybody. So they want
need a huge variety of skills.
Yeah, so you can't have everybody be the same. Otherwise, you just have a bunch of priests. And then what good is that if you're a priest preaching to a priest? And you know what I'm saying? So.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. And that's part of the problem that's happening right now. Oh, what's it called? Let me see if I can zoom in. I'm going to mute myself.
I still have a very important question about cuttlefish. Are they fluffy? Are they fluffy?
They're flowy. They're flowy.
Are they fun to cuddle with?
They would be if you could get down there. I think, honestly, after because they said that asinine thing about cuttlefish. Then I watched the documentary and I'm like, cuttlefish are awesome. But I smoke weed, so I think all documentaries are awesome.
Aren't they like an octopus almost?
Yeah, they're in the same family. The difference really is that cuttlefish are about the only cephalopods that have retained any bony structure. And they have an internal bone that is hollow that they use as a float. Because they can fill it with gas to obtain neutral buoyancy, so that it doesn't take them any effort to basically float in the water column at any level.
So they have
cuttlefish resemble squids much more than they do octopi.
Yeah.
Octopi.
Okay, so I think they're calling it. Sorry, I think they're calling it the Gender Identity Project. So if you hear that, that's Matt Walsh and a bunch of cis white guys who are going to make fun of you.
That spells jip.
Well,
it's a ripoff. It's a jip.
As much as these people threaten our lives, these people should be also damn happy and count their lucky stars that we also tend to be a non-violent group. Because they would not be around if we were violent.
That's an old black people used to say that, like that you're lucky that we don't act like you. Black people used to say that in the 60s. Like you're lucky that we don't emulate you.
Yeah.
Because it's always the I call that the cry bully approach. When someone's punching you and they're saying stop hitting yourself,
Ugh. On the other hand, we get to eat them. They
What's a
are
human?
our food. They are meat for the beast.
Hey, since you're in here, will you go in that cabinet and grab all my the tub of patches? Isaiah, do you have yours? Can you hear? Thanks. No, right there. The other one. Sorry, there's massive cabinets in here.
Come on.
So yeah, buyer beware. The new trope is now making crappy documentaries. It's the same old stuff.
Buyer beware, it's a jip.
That one, yeah. I just thought it was really interesting, but no matter who or what you are, there is someone out there trying to preying on you, I should say.
Yep, there's a group of people preying on me all the time. The human species.
Okay, so I always thought that was weird. Forever. Yeah, I'm a grown man. So what? Hold on. Show that again.
Twilight.
So the reason why I kept this print is because I know you can't see it, but this was all printed in an emulsion box. Someone made this by hand. And so
Really?
the utter quality of this deserves to be a pass. I couldn't do it. Someone literally made this by hand and laid each color down and everything without a printer. There's machines that do this.
My brother used to do
sick,
silk
dude.
screening T-shirts.
We can only see about half the picture.
Before the internet, before printers. I'm sorry. What was that, Jenny?
It's a Twilight. It's from the movie Twilight.
I thought it was.
Move it lower in the frame. There we go.
Yeah,
someone
I thought it
did
was
that
a
by
photo.
hand. That's artwork. Someone did. No, it's on a T-shirt.
Wow.
Yeah. And actually the person who did it showed me how they did it, and I was like, wow, that's effing artwork. And they're older than me and obsessed with Twilight.
Yeah, I know the technique. I've never seen it done with such photographic realism.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's still just absolutely unreal to me how they did it.
If I may say, I never really got into Twilight. I think I saw the first movie. I don't remember if I saw any of the others, but bits and pieces here and there. But I must say I did like what I think is one of the biggest points of the story or whatever, where okay, she falls in love with him and he's like, but I am this pretty much evolved predator of humans. I have these traits that make me enticing to humans. How can I ever possibly know the true love of a human? I think that's fascinating.
Absolutely.
Whether you're talking about something supernatural like a traditional vampire, or I mean the Twilight vampires almost, I don't know if they ever got into the origins or really they didn't seem all that supernatural to me. They just seemed like probably another kind of human, really, that was but that evolved as a predator of humans.
I like stories.
So they evolved traits that help them ensnare humans.
I like that better than and keep in mind, like, I'm from the Lost Boys era,
I am too, dude.
But I like that they made them more human. When they make them less demigod and more like us.
Yeah. See, I didn't think they came off as all that supernatural. They're done. They didn't really seem to use superpowers. They're just all, super strong and regenerate or whatever. But they didn't really seem particularly supernatural. Just
exactly
advanced.
Well, and if you look at it in an evolutionary sense, it's actually quite common to find in the fossil record of animals that the predators were very closely related to their prey. So it seems that, starting with cannibalism and causing the species to branch was pretty common.
Yeah. So I just think that's a fascinating idea of it. The idea of well, it can't be true love. Everything about me is about enticing you.
That's why I liked in I think it's Dracula 2000 where they made Dracula Judas, and Judas was every human being that came near him wanted him or was attracted to him, and that was part of his superpower.
Yeah. Well, that's the traditional Dracula charm, That's old and common vampire trope.
I've always been a Buck Rogers space head my whole life. I think it's because my dad worked for NASA and Rocketdyne and Boeing. I've always been because my brothers were really into The Hobbit, and I have every kind of old school book you could possibly think of, but I was always into like Flash Gordon and stuff like that when I was a kid.
I was always into Flesh Gordon myself.
I've seen Flesh Gordon. That's a great movie. Right up there with Rammin' and Jammin'.
I was into all of it. Dinosaurs, medieval fantasy, Western, 1920s and 30s and 40s, gangsta stuff.
Oh yeah.
Fucking 50s and 60s beatnik and then fucking modern, and then fucking near future like cyberpunk and near future sci-fi fantasy like Shadowrun, all the way up to far future stuff like Star Trek.
Dog,
I'm into all that shit, and of course comic books and superheroes. I was into all of it.
I have a question for Dog. Why would vampires be scared of something that they existed before Jesus? So why would they be scared of a cross? And why would a cross in any way, shape, or form affect them, or holy water?
Well, and the other question I've always had is, what if the vampire wasn't Christian? If he was Jewish before he became a vampire, would you need a Star of David to repel him?
Exactly.
Have you ever seen a movie called My Best Friend is a Vampire?
No.
I think I saw part of it.
Oh, David Warner's in it. The guy who played Sark in Tron, and Chancellor Gorkon in Star Trek 6. And he plays the vampire hunter, and like the sort of main character is a kid who got turned, a high school kid who got turned into a vampire, and it's 80s high school hijinks and cheesy as hell, right? But the vampire hunter gets to thinking the vampire kid's friend is the vampire, and he's not the vampire, and every test to see if he's a vampire keeps failing, and he puts the cross up to his head, and it's not affecting the kid at all because he's not a vampire, and people are standing around. They're like, see, the cross doesn't affect him. He's not a vampire, and he's like, maybe he's a Jewish vampire. That's why that reminded me of that. Like, what if there's a Jewish vampire?
Well, yeah. I love that scene from the first Mummy movie. When the mummy's coming at the guy, the guy in the market, and he pulls out this necklace that's got dozens of religious symbols, and he's fumbling through them trying to figure out which is the right one to work.
Yep.
That's hilarious.
And that's always shocked me. Like somehow religious
Yeah.
some like idol is gonna stop someone from beating the crap out of you.
It's because like so many other things, vampires got usurped by Christians. You know, vampires didn't have anything to do with Christians, but then Christians came along and the power of God will destroy all vampires.
Yeah. Well, it's they have to believe that their God is powerful enough to destroy anything that could threaten them.
Mm-hmm. And yet must have created vampires for some reason.
No, that goes back to my
Well,
God.
You're not supposed to think about that.
Yeah.
That goes back to my God will out suplex your God.
My God has a bigger dick than your God.
Exactly what it is.
God wrestling. I want to see that.
See, this is why I believe I believe in a God. I'm an atheist who believes in a God. But the God I believe in is the living embodiment of non-existence.
You would do great. There's actually a religion like that. The modern day, well, they believe their God is come and gone, but like the modern day 5% Muslims are like that.
Mm.
They don't believe that God is in the sky.
Well, see, here's the fun part about my God. Ask me if my God exists.
Does your God exist?
Yes, but for the purpose of not existing.
Oh, fuck.
Can I prove my God exists? Not with anything that exists.
Oh, now
That's
I
like
have
the Hitchhiker's Guide.
I can prove it exists, but not with anything that exists, not with a physical instrument, nothing like that.
That totally is Hitchhikers. Now I have Spirit in the Sky stuck in my head again.
Well, my last concept of God before I gave up the whole idea was that, I had given up the idea of any kind of like anthropomorphic God. But I had kind of the idea of God being like the collective conscience of all life forms together.
That's the Godhead.
Sorry, Jeff, didn't see you hiding down there.
And that's like, I want to be floating around. Like, I want to be floating around. This is my whole thing. I don't like most of the people in my family. I don't want to be spending eternity with those idiots. And so you die and you go to heaven. You're high and you stare at God the whole time. Take some special K, put a diaper on. You could do it on Earth.
That's right, that's baby.
Why I say, if I accept the notions of heaven and hell as Christians describe them, I would rather go to hell because I think that I could tolerate eternal torture much easier than eternal boredom.
Yeah, at least you have something interesting to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, any kind of pain you'll get used to after a while, so they got to keep mixing it up or it's not going to work.
That's at least the old adage, isn't it? At least hell's where all the good music's going to be.
Oh, you sure? Right. Have you ever seen the movie Little Nicky?
Shit, yeah.
When Slayer, hell opens up and Slayer's playing.
Now I have a question. Has anyone ever considered the possibility of creation or parts of creation like us being some kind of divine byproduct? And I mean that both in the general sense that it could have just been that us or creation itself could have just been something that happened while the God was doing something else.
I think God does
to something more specific, like God farted and here we are.
So I think accident, yes. I think we put divine flavor on everything because it makes it taste better. We are all we're there. You and I went off about this, Doc. There's no difference between us and the ant that's crawling underneath my house. That's right. We come from the same planet. We are made of the same stuff. So I don't think we're all
just bugs on the cosmic windshield. I always say.
I don't think that there's anything divine creating anything. I think that this is just the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing that, religion always wants to make it that for some reason we are the pinnacle of creation, that we are, the most important thing in the universe.
Oh yeah,
It's like, nah, no, not necessarily buying that.
No, watch human beings in a crowd and you see how special we are not. It's kind of like in the late 90s, Vince McMahon started putting extreme in front of everything. Like, come on, Extreme SmackDown, come watch Mega Raw. And it was just words,
Extreme knitting. Extreme rowboating.
Because he was ripping off ECW, that's why.
So true. I have all those old tapes, Jeff. If you ever get bored, I have a bunch of ECW.
I've got a load of old ECW tapes somewhere.
But I'm just saying, like, as human beings, we put a lot of emphasis on things. We overemphasize everything. And you know what? We have to in order to survive it, because if not, we would all get bored and I don't know. Like, I guess it's one of those weird things.
Our brains need stimulation.
True. Yes, Robert X, there are sewing machines in hell, but they're all bootleg. And you can't find your bobbin.
They only make one size bobbin and it doesn't fit any of the machines.
Yeah, exactly. And all the instructions are in German and I don't speak German.
I actually had that happen once, that I bought a power tool accessory that was from a German company. And the instructions were in 7 languages, but English was not one of them.
Yeah, exactly. I could get away with it if it's in Spanish because I can at least sound it out. But if it's not in English, yeah.
Yeah, I had to sort it out just from the pictures.
Oh, that's funny. There's been all kinds of new arguments. Let me look up Little Light Studios real quick.
Actually, that is one of the reasons why Lego became the biggest toy manufacturer in the world. Because they figured out how to do their instructions without any words. So it didn't matter what language you were used to.
That's smart. There's a YouTuber I watch who takes apart sewing machines and puts them back together. He doesn't say one word and he has like 1,000-something subscribers. And he just puts music behind it. And part of me thinks that he doesn't speak English, but his work is amazing.
I've got a couple of woodworking channels that I watch that do that. That, clearly the person doing it doesn't speak English, so they just skip the narration altogether and you just have to follow the pictures.
Yeah, exactly. But I've actually, because recently I commented on one of his videos and he's like, "Oh, thank you, you're my colleague." And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, "You're out of my league, but thanks for calling me a colleague." Like I've learned stuff from this guy, a ton of stuff actually. Because he takes apart the older machines and from piece to piece, he completely takes them apart and puts them back together.
Okay. Oh.
Speak fluent German. All you need is a shot in English and put it in the air. I grew up around German people, dog. That's mean. I actually know someone, a good friend of mine. He's German. He runs the Pride for Georgia. Or for Atlanta. I'm sorry. He does the Atlanta Pride. Oh, that's funny. Is that makes Karen out to be a villain in the Book of Death? Oh, now I just have Spirit in the Sky stuck in my head.
Oh, give me a good hug.
Now you've mentioned that song, I'm gonna have it stuck in my head as well.
I did, I rock out in my garage while I'm sewing, and it came on the other week, and I was like, I had this whole thing of like, I can still listen to certain songs and not put religious connotations on them. It just rocks out. I love that song.
I used to listen to Petra and Striper.
I know. I brought up Striper earlier.
Striper, oh my god.
I brought them up earlier. I was like, I do have limits.
I've never understood how it is that Striper have got this big secular following as well.
Yeah.
It's like they're not good. You know?
I'm gonna say that about Nick. I feel like that about Nickelback too. They came in before they had their hit. Like they were already kind of famous in the Christian, realm. They're not my thing. I never really got into it.
I mean, it is fashionable to hate Nickelback, though, isn't it? It's like a socially acceptable form of prejudice nowadays,
Well, also, like a long time ago, it's kind of like the Lou Bega song Mambo No. 5. A long time ago, I was on a road trip from LA to Arizona when I lived in Arizona. And my ex-girlfriend was like, hey, you got to hear this song. I love this song. And it was Nickelback. It was This Is How You Remind Me. I had to hear that song for the next... Well, they never stopped playing that song.
Yeah.
I hate it. So it's more personal. It reminds me of someone I'm just like, oh, you're lame and your band is lame. Your song is lame and it's still lame.
I think this may be one song they've done which I don't mind. Which is that Burn It to the Ground. I think that's a pretty good song.
Hey, I just had a Twilight patch. I'm no one to judge.
You are just bigoted against those who are talent impaired.
Hey, chill out.
I know there's a bunch of cheesy songs that I love, but I can't think of them right now.
Yeah, me too.
I try not to judge though, because I'm into all kinds of crazy stuff, So I try to.
Yeah, I like lots of different music.
Johnny Cash, A Boy Named Sue.
Yeah.
There, have that in your head now, Will.
It was Gatlinburg in mid-July. Yes, I do.
Yep.
I won't sing it, but I know that song word for effing word. That is my song. Do. Thanks, Jenny. You put a better song in my head. Do. I love that song.
I do like Johnny Cash. I don't really like country.
Everyone
Johnny
loves
Cash
Johnny
really
Cash.
isn't country, is he?
No, he's not really.
Rockabilly.
If you ever, a lot of people haven't heard "Solitary Man." If you have, it's a Johnny Cash covering a Neil Diamond song. It like
groovy.
That's my song. That is
I loved his covers of the modern stuff.
Johnny Cash did a version of it.
Yeah, the last album he did covers, and that whole album is just amazing.
Oh my gosh,
it's wonderful.
And
what, his last album?
Yeah,
the old man comes around.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just it's amazing, and because I'm a super just out of this world geek, it was on Stargate Atlantis, the Vegas episode, season 5, second to last episode. It's where John Shepard's in an alternate universe and he's kind of a loser, but he's still like the guy. But it's an awesome song. Awesome song. Oh, come on. We can't let Stargate Atlantis kill the conversation.
I haven't seen it yet, so I can't comment on it.
It's towards the end of both Stargate Atlantis and SG-1. They started incorporating music into the episodes, and they got a little bit more modern day with their cinematography.
Yeah, my second novel, I had a complete soundtrack for it. because every ship had its own theme song.
The only reason Stargate Atlantis did well at all, it was because Jason Momoa.
Well, I always laugh because he was on Days of Our Lives before Stargate Atlantis, but he didn't have the dreads and the look. And then when he got the look, that's when everyone was like, "Hey, who is this guy?" But if you see Jason Momoa before, like, well, especially when he was on Baywatch,
I've seen some pictures of him when he was like high school age or early college age. He looks like just your basic nerd.
Yeah, exactly.
So he was a late bloomer.
Big time.
Okay, everybody, I'm gonna bow out for a little while. I'm gonna have lunch with my girlfriend. So if you're still on when we're done, I will jump back in. If not, I will see you next time. Thank you all very much.
See you, Slim.
Fun hanging with you, man.
Yeah.
Momoa just needed to find his style, like Will says.
Yeah. Like, are you kidding me? I one day I'm gonna do a video because my dad was obsessed with photography. I have pictures of every crappy phase I've ever been through. When I had blonde hair, green hair, when I used to wear plaid shirts all the time. You have to find your style, you know. So I don't judge anyone for the awkward phase.
plaid shirts.
It was the 90s, like.
Was that your lesbian period?
Yes. Yes. And I showed up with a U-Haul. I went through a bunch of phases. Yes, Mage Grey Wolf. In the 90s, it started, I dyed my hair blonde, and then I dyed my hair tennis ball green to piss off my mom, and it worked. And then I pierced my nose like Tupac, and my mom ripped it out of my face. I still have the scar.
Christ.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I was not ready for that one. But I'm dark, so you can't tell. I have many blemishes on my face. But yeah, I went through many phases. But the vest phase kind of never went away. That's like when I was watching the Super Bowl with my mom, and Snoop Dogg came out. It was important for me to tell her, like, hey, it's not a phase for Snoop Dogg either. Because I said earlier in the 90s, my mom told me, she's like, rap won't be around 10 years from now.
Rap had kind of a co-history with punk.
Totally.
And just had a lot better staying power.
That's why
we are going to end this phase of women's clothes without pockets. That's a phase that has to end immediately.
Yes, women need pockets. I can't believe it.
I'm not doing it. I am making random pockets a fashion statement.
I was about to say, tell me your size. I'll make you a denim dress with as many pockets as you want. We can go kill.
I don't think you should. I used to think that, but I don't anymore. I think pockets really can destroy some styles and just look terrible.
Well, yeah, but you need a place for the cell phone. And I am more concerned about function than what it looks like.
Exactly.
Yeah, well,
me too.
That's called a purse.
One of the reasons that women's clothes don't have pockets is because men love looking at women. And originally it was men making the clothes. It was men making the clothes.
Yeah.
Originally. You know?
Yep. I used to think it was men that invented skirts just so they could lift them up and look at them like perverts.
Men used to wear skirts just like women.
And high
I
heels.
know. I once I learned that, I was like, well, there went that theory.
Well,
and men should start wearing skirts again. They're very comfortable in summer.
Although it is the reason that chivalry is bullshit. The only reason a man holds the door open for a woman is so he can check out her ass as she walks by.
As a ass man, I can confirm that.
You like big butts and you cannot lie.
Other brothers just deny.
Well, yes.
Oh yeah. I'm a curvy fan. I'll never deny that. I'll die on that hill with a big smile on my face. I like a woman with curves.
Oh yeah.
Again, I saw a commercial earlier, and I watch crazy stuff on YouTube, but it was this extremely skinny woman saying, oh, this is the California diet. You should push the California diet. And I'm like, you look emaciated. Stop lying to people.
No, women are supposed to have curves. They're supposed to have hips. And where did this bullshit about thigh gap ever come from?
That's kind of gross. It's like it makes them look like some kind of fucking robot. I mean,
yeah. Why are women's legs supposed to be that fucking skinny?
Okay, so first off, because I'm an equal opportunity lover, I love skinny women. I love all women. But it's because we push false narratives. We say it's never, let's be healthy. It's always one extreme or the other. And I cannot speak for any other country, but in America, we'll say, be a waif, be 80 pounds, starve yourself. And it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And we're getting back to that. We're getting back to that too.
The crazy mutilations and suffering people put themselves through for their stupid fucking vanity. It's fucking sickening.
Twiggy started it all.
Yeah. Well, we're getting back to it because, the American obesity has become a buzzword. So now, since women are so avoiding anything that anybody could say that they're obese or fat, they're going to go to the other extreme that they've got to be emaciated.
Yeah.
Jeff, are you familiar with Greg Dyke, the TV presenter?
Very much so, yes.
I watched a segment one time when he was on The Pledge, where I think it was The Pledge, where he said he came to America and he was shocked on how fat this country is. I've been to the UK. We're about the same size. Like, I've been to the UK.
We're not far behind. If we're talking about American obesity, we ain't fucking far behind.
I've been there, and like, y'all look just like us.
Well, and Mark, yes, you definitely have a point that what is really sexy is a woman who carries herself with confidence. The physical attributes are secondary if she feels good about herself and really projects it.
But he had me screaming at my television. I'm like, dude, you only say that to people who haven't left the country. Like we're all in the Western world. We are bigger people. We just are.
Yeah. What was it? I think it was an old routine by Bill Hicks. I think it was Partian talking about Waco or something. But he said, what is it? He said, why does these guys always, like, these lunatics always snap and for some reason start thinking that they're Jesus? Why does nobody snap and think they're the Buddha? It's especially in America where more people resemble Buddha than Jesus.
Jeff, you got something in front of your microphone that's muffling you and can barely understand you.
Hold on.
Yeah, you're sounding kind of like you're eating your mic.
Hold on.
Okay, Mage, I just have to address this because I think pretty much all the women I've had any significant relationship with were 300 pounds or more.
Yeah, I can't do big women. I don't mind the bigger women, but I have to draw a line. For I'm scared of heights. I don't want to be up there, like, and I don't want to be underneath getting squashed, like pestle and mortar.
So I'm 5'9", high dog, by the way. And
well, wait a minute. What do you think a woman who weighs 110 pounds feels like under some 6 foot 250 pound guy?
Yeah.
So that was going to be my question. I dated a woman.
I don't like the skinny ones either. I just think they're.
I dated a woman who was 6'. I dated a woman who was 6'4", and I'm 5'9", and I didn't have a problem with it.
Actually, so did I. One of the women I lived with was about 6'4",
and she there was really no awkward, and she was physically bigger than I was, because she was 6'4".
And besides, this way you get to go up on her.
Can I go back to Purple and his quote, one of the women I lived with? Are you some sort of Kent Holvin, a little harem there?
No. It was always only one at a time, but...
All right.
Kent Holvin has a harem of, what's his protege? The pale kid.
Cupcake. Matt Powell.
Yeah.
You know.
Whenever I see them next to each other, like that is the beginning of a gay porn.
I'll tell you. Matt Powell. I hate to invoke the old Haggard's law thing. You know that old argument says the most homophobic people are the ones who are secretly gay. But I don't know if there's one priest who I reckon is gonna be caught on Grindr one day. It's Matt Powell.
Yes, and that stereotype is there for a reason, Jeff. It's because as someone who's in the community, when you get someone screaming at you, it's because they want to be just as free as you are. So
I predict Matt Powell is gonna repeat the history of George Michael.
Oh well,
he'll be caught in one of those public bathrooms or whatever.
I always say this: George Michael's stall in Santa Monica in the park is a place of it's where we migrate to cruise. That is cruising paradise over there.
Yep,
so
that's how like Powell's gonna get caught. That's my prediction.
It's not like
I'm gonna laugh so much because I don't know if you know. I don't know if you know that I briefly featured in one of Matt Powell's videos.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And he's just doing a whole thing about like general like atheist YouTubers that he has to deal with, and so basically we're all like big kids because we've got like pictures of Marvel comics or whatever on our wall and stuff like that, which is because. And I was trying to think back where I'd ever made a video about him, and then I realised, oh yeah, I did the old Simon Dan's little thing with the banana thing. But he picked up on the fact that I've got a picture of Deadpool on my wall, and he was just trying to basically because he's got no argument, he just decided to make this big ad hom attack on all that atheist YouTubers. But what it tells me about Matt Powell is the fact that he picked up on some. There's one or two like big name people we featured, like Aaron Ra and Paul Legier and stuff. But most of them were like people, like, you know, that were quite sort of small YouTubers, like my sort of size. So that tells me that Matt Powell spends time searching through YouTube to see what atheists are saying about him. His ego is that big. He's got to see what people are saying about him. That's what it tells me about him.
I live by the saying that what other people think of me is none of my business.
But Jeff, don't you think that he will have his superhero, a wooden effigy of Jesus Christ on his wall?
I was just about to say he believes.
No, he's got an effigy of Kent Hovind, I think, but
he believes in Jesus Christ the superstar.
I was going to say when he said one of my first things I said when he was said we all live in a fantasy land. I was like, pretty bold claim coming from someone who thinks the Earth is 6,000 years old. But hey.
I hope he never. If he
but I
ever
got a book that says my fantasy is real.
Yeah. Hey, I put Ben Sisko in every single one of my videos because there is more proof for Ben Sisko being real than Jesus Christ. Challenge me.
I'm just like, because the fact that I'm on Matt Powell's radar now is a step in the right direction to me, because I'm one of my big, I would like consider it a crowning moment of being on YouTube if I was on Kent Hovind's Whack an Atheist. So the fact that I'm on Matt Powell's radar now makes me think, it's possible that Kent may become aware of me one day. It's possible. But I think I think Kent only either goes after very big name YouTubers or I've got one advantage. He doesn't seem to like the British YouTubers, so I've got that in my favour. The downside is I'm not a woman. That's one thing he seems to really hate is British female YouTubers who call him out because he got seriously butthurt by Rachel Oates, and he
Why?
seriously. All she did was a couple of videos where she read through
very threatened by any intelligent women.
Yeah, and British Emma Thorne. He's having a massive pube of her at the moment. She has really got under those two more than anyone. Emma Thorne and Rachel Oates. I've never seen any people get under Kent Hovind's skin the way they did.
Oh, Emma's done some great videos about Ken. He actually posts his own vids to retaliate, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, Kent. You can tell Emma has seriously got under Kent's skin.
Yeah, and I'm sure, like Mark is saying here, I'm sure he's got his, however many thousand followers that will tell him anytime someone else mentions him.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Talk about me, please. Talk trash about me. Tell other people you hate me because it sends more people to my channel.
Hey, I've said that's the one goal for my channel I haven't achieved yet, is I've got to get Ken Ham to call me out online.
Well, I noticed because one ring did a response thing Matt Powell put out, because he's like, okay, criticizing fantasy stuff here. That's obviously Ring's wheelhouse. Ring got got my first troll, and I was looking for it, and I was like, Ring, I think you've got one of the OG blimmin' trolls on YouTube here, one of the biggest. I think I'm pretty damn sure, looking at this, that this is an account of Brett Keen's who's trolling you.
Oh, that's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Yeah, the manatee. Because well, I mean, I'm assuming he's a Christian again. He's flipped between being an atheist and being a Christian about 3 or 4 times now, isn't he? So.
Well, every time they create an open forum, he'll pop up. Demi actually had a decent channel where people would just go on there, and it was open chat. It was a dumpster fire sometimes, but you know what? It was just people talking like this, and he would go on there and he would make a complete arse out of himself.
Well, of course he's going to make an arse out of himself. It's Brett Keen. It's what he does.
It's been a couple years since I heard of him, so when he popped back up, I was like, oh, here we go again.
Well, he's like that, though, because he seems to sort of go away for a while and pop up again. He's like, let's be honest, he is like flipping YouTube's answer to herpes, isn't he? He's much like dormant for a while, but he just pop up and remind everyone he's there once in a while.
He's definitely one of those people.
Oh yeah, but I would say to Ringer, congratulations, you got Brett Keen trolling you. That's an accomplishment. I mean, the thing is, when YouTube started up, Brett Keen was one of the OG atheist YouTubers, wasn't he? But then he obviously flipped because when he was doing one of his little e-begging scams or whatever, and realised that he could grift off the Christians a lot easier than he could off of the atheists. So,
to be fair, it's easy to rip off a fanatic. Look at what they've done to Star Trek. They've slowly privatized Star Trek. I've paid. At every paywall I've paid. So who's the real sucker, because I'm a zealot when it comes to Star Trek, and look at people in their religion, they will throw money at anything that has to do with religion.
Yeah. Well, and you see that with a lot of the big franchises that, people become obsessed with something, and it doesn't matter how shitty the stuff they put out is, people keep buying it.
That's because everybody's been trained so well to be non-critical, to just accept, to bend over, to be sheep. The public schools, the churches, they all teach you that.
Yep. Yeah, and then they turn around and they call us sheep.
Yeah, and
we are
the same crap over and over and over and over.
Oh, I am sorry. I see what you mean. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I think there's nothing funnier than the Christian apologetics calling atheists sheep. It's like your own holy book refers to as a flock and refers to Jesus as a shepherd.
Yeah, that's a compliment in their book, surely.
Yeah, and then you're calling us sheep because we follow what the scientists have all come to agree on.
Do you know, I have not been prepared for this new push on anti-science. I've recently gone back on Facebook and I'm amazed on how many people are like, science is what people want you to believe, or how many blah 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 blah. It's just anti-science propaganda, really, in 2022.
And lots of it, and more of it all the time.
This is why I watch old British comedies and sewing tutorials on YouTube all day. I'm the same. Like, and, you know, I'm not going to sit up here and lie. I'm obsessed with Star Trek. I've paid at every paywall. Yes, dog, I watched Discovery. I've watched all the shows. I'm obsessed with...
I got about halfway through the first season of Discovery, and I thought, yeah, that's enough of that.
The season 3 and 4
are Mandalorian. I haven't watched Boba Fett yet.
Oh, it's so good.
I haven't watched it yet. So
it's very good.
But dog, have you seen?
I got fed up with that after about fucking. It was the same every fucking show.
The only thing I've seen about Boba Fett so far are the
fucking Baby Yoda off on somebody and does his thing and picks Baby Yoda up. He's been eating weird, crazy shit, and that's it. And he never has a squit at all, Baby Yoda. He never has a shit at all. You thought he'd have a special toilet for him, and the crap he eats.
Has anyone seen Picard?
Oh yeah,
yeah. I quite enjoyed that. That was it. I think it's because it was Patrick Stewart. Really, I don't think it was the show wasn't that great. Season 2 might be better. Now he's a robot.
We'll see. Now that I know what the plot is, I guess once I found the plot, I'm like, oh, I've seen this episode. But we'll see what happens. I don't even want to give it away.
Well, he's a robot now, isn't he? So he's going to have these special powers, and he's going to be doing kung fu and all that. And
cheers for the spoilers, dog. Yeah.
Q shows up.
Well, no, I reckon I haven't seen it. I reckon that's why he's going. Well, no, he was made a robot in the end of season 1, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was basically turned into Data.
I haven't watched it yet.
Then it's a great show. You should watch it. And they filmed it all by my house. And there's a scene where he goes to Raffi's house. That is Vasquez Rocks, and that's the same place where Kirk fought the Gorn, which is now the parking lot where Kirk fought the Gorn. But Vasquez Rocks
that was the worst fight in the world.
Yeah.
It's like just stuck Gorn. How can you not avoid any of his hits? The way he was hitting, it was like fucking slow motion. I'm sure the Gorn's got nuts as well.
Yeah. To be honest, choreography back then wasn't great, was it?
No, not at all. But in Enterprise, they did the Gorn some justice, and they made the Gorn like an actual like scary giant lizard in the Mirror Darkly episodes in season 4 of Enterprise.
Yep.
But yeah, have you guys seen Lower Decks at all?
I've seen the first couple episodes. It's about the only Star Trek thing I haven't caught up on.
I'm in love with it, and I think it's hilarious. It's Rick and Morty in outer space. I think it's hilarious. It's Star Trek meets Rick and Morty. I really like it, and it's a kids show. But Star Trek has also come out with a show called Prodigy, and my ex-wife's husband works for Amazon, and he drives around my town, and he stumbled upon the Section 31 show with Michelle Yeoh. They're filming it right now, and they're almost done with that.
Wait a minute, Prodigy, isn't that just a repackaging of all the Wesley Crusher episodes?
No, it's a bunch of kids find a ship. They find Voyager class starship, and Janeway is a hologram.
Well, it's yeah. Well, Voyager was Intrepid class, and I don't think the what is it called? The Protostar. Yeah, they actually called it a Protostar class, so it's like a unique class of ship.
I get really ripped. Like I haven't been getting that really into it because it's a kid show, you know. So I get really ripped.
Yeah, it is very kid show, but it's all right. It's actually pretty cool.
I watched an old show with Kate Mulgrew. I didn't even know it existed until a few weeks ago, called Mrs. Columbo.
Yeah, I haven't thought about that in a long time.
It was pretty.
Yeah,
shit.
She was Columbo's wife or something, wasn't she?
It was shit. It was nothing. I thought, it's going to be like Columbo, and it was nothing like Columbo at all.
Yeah, Zumi, at this point, I would not be at all surprised if every major character from Next Generation wound up getting their own series.
They need to before they age out. One of the beautiful things about Star Trek the original was that they caught all the characters at a certain age so they could make all the movies.
I thought it was I don't know, it turned out to be a joke, like a bad sort of like joke kind of thing, but it was someone put online that Brent Spiner had died the other day, and it's like, oh no, seriously. It was like, yeah. And when I saw the meme, it's like, no, he's not actually dead, but you know, it's like, oh, like, thanks fuck for that. I was like, don't know.
Recently, someone named Fred Durst died, but it wasn't Fred Durst. the lead singer from Limp Bizkit. Yeah. So there was a huge thing where he passed. No, but back onto Star Trek, like they're filming all kinds of stuff in my town. They're filming and they're filming Strange New Worlds out here too for some weird reason. And he took the picture of the thing and sent it to me, and I was kind of shocked. But I think because of COVID, they're filming like, okay, you guys film over here, we'll film over here, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be really interesting. And Star Trek is trying to compete with all the Star Wars shows that are coming out.
Oh, yes, indeed.
So that's why
and it's silly. I love Star Trek and Star Wars all the same.
And I heard they're coming out with the new Babylon 5, but then I saw it got shelved.
Yeah.
Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me.
Well, it will be if it goes ahead. If it goes ahead, it is actually going to be Straczynski who's going to be doing it though, which gives me maybe a little bit of hope they won't completely just ruin it. But
yeah,
if they reboot Babylon 5, I'd definitely be watching it because I've got the entire series and all the movies on DVD.
Zumi and the Ceiling Cat.
Hey.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going pretty good, I guess.
But I'm excited.
I still got the Valentine stuff up.
I'm excited for all this competition because we do get new Star Trek. I won't even lie though. I'm gonna say something. I feel like a sap because I have to pay for Star Trek, and they know they have me. They know
Paramount Plus now. Yeah.
If you live in America, I don't know about anywhere else, but in America, yeah, you got to pay for Paramount, and they're privatizing Star Trek.
General War would be a good show.
It was on Netflix, but then they took it off of Netflix because they're making that Paramount Plus bullshit. So now I've got to buy Paramount Plus.
Yeah, I've recently I started re-binging all the shows. I watched Voyager 2 weeks ago, and now I'm on DS9. DS9 is my show though. Like that's my show.
DS9 is my favorite as well.
I'm still going through Voyager right now. I'm almost done with season 4 again. I'll probably be moving on to DS9 too.
I have this weird thing where like I'll rewatch certain things in order or out of order. I did that with Stargate for the longest time because I'm a total geek. Like at the end of season 8, I would start watching Atlantis season 1.
I kind of stopped after Atlantis season 1. Actually, I just never. I couldn't get into the new Stargate.
I'm a total
I love
stan.
Stargate SG-1, but I never got all the way to the end of SG-1, so I never saw any of the other ones.
I got to the end of SG-1, but then I kind of quit when I saw the first season of Atlantis, and I was like, it's just not the same.
Atlantis was very character driven. They had really good stories, and they went more off on things that they couldn't necessarily do on SG-1.
Still, what's your favorite SG-1 episode? Mine has to be the one where the time traveling one. The one where
1969.
The one where they the time looped.
Is that in season 9?
I can't remember.
Because
I remember O'Neill kisses what's her name?
Okay, so that's the episode where they go to the planet. Yes, and they're just stuck in the infinite time. That is an awesome.
They play golf through the.
Oh, I have to show it now. Because I'm such a geek.
We got any more tissues?
Because I'm such a geek on my phone. Hold on.
That's the only episode I remember. That's literally the only episode I remember.
That is my lock screen, is the gate, and that's O'Neill and Teal'c at the gate golfing. That's that's the screen on my phone. I am I'm obsessed.
Wow, Will, you are a proper nerd.
I am, and that's like with no. There's right in the middle of my backswing.
You need some more of that stuff. You need some more of that stuff on your wall, Will, and then you can get Matt Powell to make a video about you. Then
it weirds me.
I can never remember her name. Carter.
Amanda Tapping is actually an awesome human being too.
Yeah, Amanda Tapping's awesome.
I would be honored if I was on Whack an Atheist. That would be awesome. I could finally make a response video.
Well, like I said,
somebody should start a show and call it Wacky Atheist.
Yeah.
How about Whack a Christian? That would get his attention real quick.
No.
Oh no, I tried that Whack a Creationist with Kent Hovind. Yeah, I tried that. It didn't.
Yeah, that would never pan out well.
Good to know. Good.
Wacky atheist. Trust me.
Oh, you know what really?
Wacky atheist.
Put him in a Star Trek uniform. That would piss him off.
Think hang a Christian on a cross would be over the top.
This is what I put something.
A little over the top.
Fun to watch.
Well, this is the funny thing with Matt Powell sort of saying that all these atheists, they haven't gotten out of stuff with Cartoon Network. And I'm like, dude, you hang around with a guy who uses a SpongeBob SquarePants toy as a prop.
I don't I don't get it why he's harping on comic books and stuff like that. Like
it's pretty much the whole thing of I've got no actual arguments to address any of these people. So I'm just gonna do this.
It's even worse than that,
10
Jeff.
minutes.
And
because him and his ilk are stuck in the 1930s, which is when the first comic books are blasphemous stuff started to show up.
Yep. I was going to
Matt
mention
Powell is fueled by toxic masculinity and has to prove that every other man on the planet is less of a man than he is.
Yeah. Well, he was also groomed though. I don't feel sorry for him, but let's remember he was groomed. So he is a creationist robot. He's just spouting out all the crap that was pumped in his head as a child.
Yeah, I won't disagree with that.
Him and that other guy, that Diego guy, is that his name? Like it's gross.
Well, unfortunately, that's true of the majority of the population. That they get indoctrinated to religion as children and they never question it.
Matt Powell is without honor.
That kid, what was his name? Guzman or something. He was part of that.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that was tragic because he was like 12 years old and he started spouting this stuff.
That was sad. That was sad.
So to me, that's child abuse.
Yeah.
My kid's 12.
Yeah.
My kid's 12. I would never let my kid become a robot like that.
Because I mean, there were people who tried to sort of interact with that kid, like when he showed up on YouTube, because it's like you kind of wanted to sort of just reach out and sort of say, hey, you know, but I don't know. It's just as more as time got on, it's more and more as time got on. It's just like, this kid's this kid. It's like this kid's too far gone. You know.
That's like
it's sad. It is sad.
Don't this one kid I remember years and years ago, like 15, 16 years ago when YouTube first started. He was one of those like super ultra conservative Christians. But then about 2012, 2013, something happened and he was around 17 or 18 at the time, and he kind of discovered, liberalism and actual, leftists, and completely changed his life, and now he's ultra liberal and atheist. So that's what happens whenever you actually get, out of the indoctrination camp that is a house full of ultra conservative parents and into college.
Oh man, take them to their first party. You won't be able to keep them on the farm.
Yeah.
Well, they say that, and I don't know if you're aware, in the Amish religion or lifestyle or whatever you want to call it, there's a period where the older teenager, like late high school, early college age type, will be allowed to live away from the community and to experience the world. Before they commit.
About 16 that they go
and
away.
Most
for a
of
year.
them come back and stay with the community.
It's called Rumspringa.
Yeah.
Yo.
It's one of those.
And probably I would think a lot of them come back because they run into all sorts of things that they have no idea how to deal with. They're not at all prepared to deal with the world outside that community.
Yeah, because they're not prepared. Yeah, exactly.
So they probably get scammed and taken advantage of constantly because they don't know how the outside world works.
Yeah, Barney Stinson
culture,
did that,
isn't
and
it?
How I Met Your Mother. He used to dress as one of them, and wait outside the gate during that season when the girls had come out. And he'd scam them for sex.
To be fair, in America, we have separate cultures in every state, in every town, in every Northern California is different than Southern California. That's different than San Diego. Culture is relative.
Well, I see if you agree. I think we should start kind of like updating a little bit, redesigning and marketing Amish fashion for women's clothes.
Oh heck yeah! It's actually easy to make too. So yeah, I could make forms by hand.
So basically, you're covering up 99.9% of the body except for the face. That's it.
No, they're long skirted. They're long skirted. You could make them a 3/4 sleeve instead of a full length sleeve. There's a lot of different things you could do to keep them modern.
You can show ankles?
Okay, so Purple, to answer your question, not necessarily, because I have a very, very, very good friend I know who's Muslim, and I've been making jean dresses for her family for 3 or 4 years. And I know someone who's Mormon who's bought the exact same style off of me. And it's just old recycled jeans turned into a dress.
Oh.
It's more of a conservative way of life, And if you pay me, I will make it for you. Even if I don't agree with your religion or your way of life.
Special underwear, Will? Can you make that out of jeans?
So, no. Would you want to wear denim underwear?
I don't know.
I wouldn't.
Got away with it, didn't he?
Well, denim is always going to be my style.
It's mine. It's my love. I have denim jackets, denim vests.
I want to have a couple of nice denim skirts.
Tell me, well, we're the same height. I could make you one. I just have a giant waist.
Give him your measurements offline, Will. Or Perp.
I could do it like that. Is something I can do in my head because and I'll make you one with pockets too.
Well, see, I love the idea, but I don't have anything I can offer you in trade for it.
Oh, don't worry about it. You do more for people in this community than they deserve.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, to be fair, I think I only help out the ones who have deserved it.
I know. I'm just giving you a hard time. I'm giving you a hard time.
We got somebody on Twitter giving us a hard time about doing the fundraiser for Diana.
Who? Let me find that person so I can suplex them.
Oh, it's very popular on Twitter for people to get on anyone who's conducting a fundraiser for anything and tell them, get a job.
Yeah.
You are so idiot.
Yeah, it's pretty much agreed that this is somebody operating through a sock account because they only have 10 followers.
I've said that to somebody, but I didn't like that person.
With how many fundraisers that have been turned into scams lately? It's kind of hard to do that.
Yeah, well, and that's I understand that.
Well, there was one, wasn't there, that was an outright scam.
Absolutely.
But
here's my thing, like, if you don't want to participate, don't participate. I've learned to keep my mouth shut. There's people I don't like that I think are fraudsters, but that's life. Like, if you don't want to participate in it, don't participate in it.
Yeah.
And if you go after Diana, I will fight you.
Yeah, well, this person's on there basically saying that, they want to see the bills, they want to see the amounts, they want to see all the financial records.
Who are they? Who are they to ask?
Did they donate?
Yeah.
So what fucking business is it there?
I've donated and still been less nosy.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to go and see the conversation yourself, just, follow my link. I've commented in there a couple of times, and I've had enough of it. Scientist Mel went after her now.
I was wondering. I stay away from. My life has improved when I stay away from Twitter drama and people fighting on the internet.
Yes.
Twitter is not a good place to go, period. Twitter should be used for posting cat pics and memes and jokes, and that's it. It should not be used for anything else.
Absolutely.
Above all, no one should ever attempt to have a discussion about a serious topic on Twitter.
Oh, that's like
it's impossible to have that on Twitter.
When there's an election, I will not go on my Facebook at all for months until the election's over. Especially local politics, because people send me private messages.
Well, it pretty much was the 2016 election is pretty much when I gave up on Facebook. That I really haven't used it since then.
Well, I still use Facebook, but that's...
I love Facebook. I'm in a bunch of hockey groups. I'm in a bunch of different sewing groups. I sell sewing machines to people online. Like, I'm not dogging Facebook, but it's just, after the Super Bowl halftime show, people went online and they were like, oh, I hate this. This is dumb. And it's like, I just don't give that much effort to things I don't like.
To be honest, that's become an annual tradition now, isn't it? Like, conservatives dogging on the Super Bowl halftime show. That's become like a new tradition now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Because,
we've got some practical advice here. Mage is looking for. Anyone know how to adhere a metal mask strip to silicone?
Oh, what?
No more nails.
Are you applying the silicone yourself? Because then you could just slide the strip in as you're doing it in its liquid form. But if it's already hardened silicone, you could place it around it or on top of it and form it from there.
Or put fresh silicone over the...
What's the project?
Old.
Yeah, that's true. Don't ask me. I get masked knee from everything.
Yeah, unfortunately, people have been using such poor excuses for masks that now all of our medical clinics are basically requiring you to use one of their disposable masks when you go in there. I think they got fed up with people using like mesh and crochet things and claiming they weren't wearing a mask.
Oh God.
Oh, we are in mask purgatory right now because California dropped the mask mandate, but Southern California has not, and people are fighting it. Like, people are just like not giving an S whatsoever. And where I live, you will get cursed out if someone's having a bad day.
Okay, Mage, if it's a silicone mask, you might be able to just heat the silicone with like a blow dryer on high, and form it to your face to get a good seal that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Highly unlikely. Silicone is used in high temperature cooking applications and stuff.
Yeah.
That's one of its
It depends on the
glory
type
features.
of silicone. Some works at lower temperatures.
I have stuff that's like almost caulking, and when it's in its liquid form, you could put almost anything in it. And it's clear
that's
silicone.
what I'm used to more is like the silicone bath caulk, but
yeah.
And that's Jenny's right that they've got silicone that they make bakeware out of that. It's the same basic stuff, but its temperature properties are extremely different.
Crazy.
A silicone mask. That would work. Yeah, that would work, wouldn't it?
Welcome back, Slim.
Slim.
Hello, everyone.
Hey,
Slim, baby.
Yeah, Slim Mage was asking if you know how he could attach a metal strip to a silicone mask to get it to hold the shape.
But you could use silicone because silicone binds to silicone pretty easily, and silicone will bind to metal pretty easily, right?
That's what I would think is, get like a tube of silicone caulk.
Yeah. Just put some dots on it, and the silicone will bind to the other silicone, and it'll bind to the mask, to the metal as well.
Yeah, if anything, you might want to rough up the metal strip with a bit of sandpaper.
Yeah.
Just so it's got a rough edge, something
So
for
it's
the
got a
silicone
binding
to
edge.
grip, as if the metal is too smooth, it might not adhere well.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good idea.
There's also there's another type of silicone you can use. It's called metal weld, or liquid weld, or something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah, like the JB Weld is one brand.
Yeah,
JB Weld,
yeah, that's what we use.
JB Weld would work as well, but you'd have to, like you said, sandpaper the metal first. That way it binds really well.
Yeah, abrade the surfaces.
But if you use JB Weld, there's no getting it off the metal afterwards. So.
Yeah.
JB Weld is an epoxy, not a silicone.
That's an epoxy. Yeah, you're right. It's epoxy. But it will stick to silicone.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a two-part epoxy compound. I couldn't think of the word for it, so thank you,
Yeah,
Jenny.
me neither. Me neither, actually.
Is an e-pixie pixie that's on ecstasy? Oh, sorry, epoxy. Never mind.
E-pixie. An e-pixie would be an online fairy, wouldn't it?
Yeah, there you go.
Online fairy.
Any more glues?
Spirit in the sky.
Does anyone else find Kent Holvin's shirts disturbing?
Kent Holvin shirts? I liked Hawaiian shirts. I don't know why people hate Hawaiian shirts so much.
Hawaiian shirts remind me of the 90s, though. They remind me of a certain era where everyone wore Hawaiian shirts.
I used to wear nothing but Hawaiian shirts.
I never found them disturbing until I saw both him and Matt Powell in a photograph wearing matching Hawaiian shirts.
They completely ruined Hawaiian shirts. That pisses me off that they ruined Hawaiian shirts like that.
That, like I said, that's the beginning of a porn right there.
Yeah.
It's like Dr. Evil with Mini-Me.
I still say Matt Powell is like the personification of mayonnaise. I don't know why. I get the taste of mayonnaise whenever I see him in my mouth.
He is definitely a saltine. He is King Saltine.
I like saltines.
Me too. I eat them too. I'm not saying.
Wasn't Cracker banned from Twitch a while back? The Burke Cracker.
Yeah, Hassan got banned for a week for saying cracker on his stream.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
totally. I'm totally serious.
Oh, you should not. I have a neighbor who says that like every other word.
My fiance's best friend used to call me Saltine because she said I was the whitest cracker she knew.
Also, the word honk. The word honk was banned from Facebook a while back.
Really?
Yeah, because of the word honky. The word honk.
Yeah. But I watch a lot of bluegrass and I watch a lot of honky tonks. Like I'm upset. I have a banjo. I have two. I have a Fender and a crappy Dean. And like I'm obsessed with bluegrass music. And it's not rare to see someone at the honky tonk.
Now it's like I almost want to set up an alternate account on Twitter just to see if it gets bounced for posting honky tonk.
No, it wasn't Twitter, it was Facebook.
Somebody I know, I'm friends with my friend's mom, and my friend's mom got banned for Twitter she got put in Facebook jail for posting a video of her granddaughters doing the Nutcracker performance. Facebook said that the Nutcracker music was copyrighted. A 70-something-year-old lady was like, "Go F yourself." She made this post. She was like, "I effing hate Facebook." Oh, it made me laugh my ass off.
The thing is with copyrighted music is if you play an uncopyrighted version of it, say a cover of it, it's fine. But if you play the original music, you can get banned.
I started doing that with Faith No More.
You have to make sure it's in the Creative Commons, or you will get banned. just like anything on YouTube or Twitch. If you play like karaoke, as long as you don't play the original, as long as it's like a karaoke version of it that's not copyrighted, you're fine. But if you try to play the original with you will get banned.
And Mark Caesar, I could play dueling banjos, but it's better when two people are playing it versus each other rather than running back and forth.
Question: has there ever been a dueling banjos to the death?
If there is, I want to be in that audience.
There needs to be.
That kid on the film Deliverance with the banjo.
One down, a couple million to go.
Do you know my
the two are just standing there, nooses around their necks, playing their asses off.
If you ever want to clear a crowd, pick up a banjo. They're loud. They scream. You'll find out who likes bluegrass or not.
Yeah,
I think a banjo is a beautiful instrument. So screw y'all.
Yeah, I love banjos.
I own two of them. My banjos. It's one of those instruments where you don't necessarily even need a microphone for it if you're in public because they're so loud. You get a good one.
Yeah.
I have a 6-string and a 4-string.
Oh, nice.
I mean, I like strumming banjo, but I make sure that I ask her first before I strum her.
She's lovely. She's a dream.
I actually used to play bass guitar back before my tremors started really affecting my hands.
Oh, that sucks. I feel like that, like I use my hands so much. I'm like, one day I'm gonna get arthritis and hate life.
Arthritis
or not be able to move.
Killed it too. Arthritis killed it as well. I cannot grip the neck of a damn guitar to save my life now.
Yeah, my hands are getting to where I can't play instruments as well as I used to, for sure.
Can you still masturbate?
Oh,
yeah, I can still barely grip that there, you know.
Well, that's all that matters.
There's a difference between pinching and cupping. Cupping is beautiful. Pinching is a fine art. That's what makes us, upright trash monkeys. Being able to use our thumbs.
It's what separates the men from the primates.
I don't know. I would love to see a monkey try to play guitar. That'd be awesome, actually.
All right, hold on. Let's see if.
I think there used to be vaudeville shows where they did have animals playing certain instruments. I don't know if it was a monkey playing a guitar, but I want to say I saw a video of that.
Mark Caesar, that would be a sight to see. He's Godless Engineer from Alabama.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
He's in Alabama,
A person from California teaching a person from Alabama how to play the banjo. That would be awesome.
I think he plays. I actually think he plays the ukulele, doesn't he?
Ukulele.
Yeah.
Ukulele.
Well, he uses the ukulele. I wouldn't necessarily say.
Well, yeah, I was going to say I used the word "plays" it used loosely.
If you clamp,
he manhandles a ukulele. He doesn't play it.
If you clamp a banjo, you can make it sound like a ukulele. I have the clamps too. The real banjo.
It's the same. It's the same tuning, isn't it?
Yeah.
4 strings, same tuning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, most guitars have the same tuning method.
Oh, that would be fun, even
guitars.
just for a video, to have you giving him banjo lessons.
That would be hilarious.
Don't you got goggles on? Go have fun. Don't hurt yourself. You got shoes on? Have fun. He's got a backyard and a bunch of stuff to break and smash, and I have every tool known to man. Go have fun.
Do it. Hell yeah.
I'm all about that. But I'm lucky because I have cool neighbors. So far, there is a new generation of younger yuppies moving in, but the older crowd, we set off mortars on the 4th of July around here, so no one's tripping.
See, that's the secret of why Canadians are so laid back. They all have cool neighbors.
Yeah, extreme. Speaking of which, okay, so on Sunday in my video when I was making the cloak, it was 83 degrees outside. Yesterday it rained in California, and then today it's like a beautiful. Alexa, what's the temperature right now? It's 64 with the sun out.
That's why I miss California so much.
We got storms coming in the UK for the next couple of days, so.
I was shocked on Sunday. I was driving around, people were wearing shorts. It was like summer all over again.
You wouldn't last 2 minutes in Norfolk at the moment, Will. It's like 70 mile an hour winds. Your hair would be a mess.
Yeah, my eyebrows would be all. I'd be on full Albert Einstein with my eyebrows.
Let's put extra gel on.
We've gotten to the point that even with the wind chill, the temperature's still above 0.
Oh wow!
It's 17 C here now.
Yeah, we've got like 20 degrees and like 5 degrees above 0 when you account for wind chill.
Oh wow!
Gee, it's only 40 here.
Would that be in Celsius or?
The sun is fucking bright out there. Oh, hurts my eyes just to look toward the window.
Do you know, when I lived in the northern part of America, I got used to it. And there's no difference between Portland, Oregon, and the UK. They have the same weather. Yeah. I missed
very
that
similar,
weather.
yeah, very similar.
But when I moved back down here, I've acclimated back to the desert weather, where I'm okay if it's 90 degrees outside. I prefer it if it's hot. Honestly, I dress like Slim. During the summer, I only wear pants because I have to.
Well, that's how I became naked all the time, is in San Diego in the summer. It's 90 to 100 degrees. Even in the winter, it's 70 degrees and over. So I was constantly never having to wear clothes. And people were not asking me to put clothes back on. So I began getting more and more naked.
I was wondering, because I'm looking at you right now. I can't even tell you because of the shirt.
yeah.
But the shirt's a distraction. Take it off.
That's like when I watched videos from a year ago, and I'm just wearing a vest because it's like 90 degrees in my garage.
Well, that was the joke at first. Is I was doing streams not wearing a shirt, not thinking about it, and then I wore a shirt a couple months into streaming, and people were like, "Slim, you need to take your clothes off because we're used to you naked." And crap, I didn't even realize I was naked the whole time.
Yeah, don't ask them to stand up ever.
Yeah, we almost got in trouble for that yesterday. I almost stood up on stream.
Oh, that's
To be fair, Slim, it's the first time I've seen you in a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of weird, huh? Yeah, and exactly, Mark. Don't ever ask me to stand up.
I was watering my. That's how I met my my neighbors that live behind me. I was watering my backyard naked, and that's when I discovered they like to eat their lunch in the backyard.
Oh God.
And our fences, my fence, like, you know, they just moved in, so I hadn't had time to replace the fence, which I should have done that when no one lived there in retrospect. But now, like, so they know me. they've seen all of me
intimately.
I'll say this much. An easy way to get your neighbors to build a privacy fence is backyard naked gardening.
Well, see, that's the thing. Like, on the weekends, my son goes with his mom. I'm by myself, you know.
So they met you while you were watering your garden, and were they impressed by your hose?
Yeah,
you know, it's
guys. I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna have to drop off. Okay, nice chatting to you again.
Yeah.
I'll see you later.
Actually, I am feeling that we should probably wrap it up here. We've been going more than 2.5 hours.
Awesome to see you, Alex.
So yeah, like I said, I'm getting tired way too fast, so I'm starting to wind down now.
Alrighty.
I think I need to go and close my eyes for a while.
Go get some rest, sweetie.
Totally.
Okay, well, let's go around, wrap up shilling. Slim, what you got going on?
I believe I need 9 more subs to be at 500, and once we get to that, we will do our 500 subs. We will be doing a roasting of me, and then we'll also be going over every time that I said that I was talk about this later. So if I said, "Oh, that thing happened," I will talk about it later. We have people that have written down a list, and I have 200 things to go over, so we will be going over a lot of stories.
That'll take up 2 or 3 days, though, won't it?
Probably. So we're going to try to get through it. If not, we'll save some of it for later. But if we could get some people to sub to my channel, that would be wonderful. We'll should be at 500 soon. Other than that, thanks
I'll get my socks to sub.
Yeah, it sounds like that just needs a couple of mentions on Twitter to happen.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you very much, Purple, for having me on, and it's wonderful being on stream with you all.
Good to see you again, Slim.
See you, Slim.
Good to see you, Slim.
Yep. Okay, yeah, looking at his page, it says Slim has 492 subs. So let's just get him 8 more.
8 more.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm subscribed to his. What's his channel name?
I'm about to post it on Twitter, so you can go grab it from there.
Awesome. Thank you.
Is it Slim the Living Cyborg?
Slim Living Cyborg.
Yes, Slim Living Cyborg.
Yep, totally.
I actually think I did subscribe, but I just can't recall right now for sure.
I'll have my alternate personality subscribed to you.
He plays a lot of PlayStation on there, which he's really shit at.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes it even funnier. Makes it even better.
I'll get my others to subscribe to you.
Yeah, watch me play shitty games very shittily. Yes, definitely.
No, I watched you play. I watched you play something. Well, it was Red Dead. Yeah, it was Red Dead Redemption.
That was one of the ones.
I miss Isaiah used to play that. I miss that game. I might start playing it.
The fist fight in the mud was the best. He just kept getting owned.
Yeah,
it was. NPC.
Yeah, it was.
That was brilliant. I thought that was a good bit of YouTube to watch that.
Okay, well, how about you, Dog? You got anything coming up? Any final words here?
I was doing the Gospel according to I've started working again from home, so Well, to be fair, they paid me for over 2 years. They carried on paying me. They even changed my company car, and I haven't driven it yet. So I need to. So I thought I'd better start. I'm I'm doing a few hours a day, and that'll be more next week. So hopefully, I'm looking at a couple of weeks. I've still got a mate trying to make my avatar move and talk, a dog avatar.
Oh, that'll be fucking cool.
What
I've
are
got
you
a song.
using, FaceRig?
Sorry?
So what are you using, FaceRig or Vroid Studios, eMaker Studio?
No, I can get a dog to talk on any of them, but no, get this avatar to talk, because that's what people know me by. Make it 3D,
okay.
make it move. So he's using like.
Okay. They have a dog avatar that looks just almost like that on FaceRig, and you can actually use Unity Engine to create different FaceRig animations for different animals and stuff. And if you want, I can give you a link to FaceRig to help you out with that.
Yeah, I've got FaceRig, animation, and I've got Unity 5 as well.
Okay, well,
and GIMP, I've got all of that.
And Snap Camera has like a million.
You need
so
a PhD in geek to know all them things, but I've got a mate who's doing
but
it
you
for
guys
me.
could hook up for that later. Let's finish going around with everybody here.
Yeah.
How about you, Zoomy? You doing anything?
Actually, yeah. On Thursday night, we'll be playing some card games, probably Cards Against Humanity, maybe some jackpots over on NASA Bunker 33, and that's tomorrow, actually. Yeah, isn't it? Yeah,
okay. Well, I don't have links for you to put in the description here.
Let me go grab my link real quick then.
NASA Bunker.
Okay,
Cards
while
Against
Zoomy's
Humanity
doing
is
that,
so bad.
It
That's
will
such a
also-
long game.
It will also be also on Saturday night we will be looking at Facebook memes. We're going to be looking at flat Earth memes on Facebook and laughing at them and proving them, debunking them really. There you go.
Cool. I need a new channel. NASA Bunker 33.
Yeah, I am the producer over there. I don't own the channel. I'm just the producer. It's me, Quiddies, Vishanti, and OK Boomer from Blackrod.
Awesome.
And Arduin. We all run the channel, separately. But I usually am the one that's producing on Saturday nights as well as the card games. So yeah, head on over there Saturday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Usually we're live at that time. And usually on the card games on Thursdays, it's around 7 o'clock, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time p.m. And Arduin runs the card games every Sunday night as well as Wednesdays. So if you want to stop by there, they're live right now actually. So if you want to go say hi to Arduin, okay, boom, you can. After this stream, of course.
Yes.
So yeah, that's it. That's it. Bye, y'all.
Thanks anyway, Perps, for having me on, mate. Always a pleasure to come on.
And thank you for having me on.
Yeah, anytime. Okay, Jenny, you have anything happening? Any last words here?
No. No last. Well, maybe some last words. No, that's too personal. Never mind. No, I'll just say good afternoon to everyone. Chat, thank you for coming. We do it all for you, and we love you.
Doc, you got anything going on?
I'll take that as a yes.
It sounds like he just regurgitated somebody's soul.
I've been working on my growling, on my beast speech.
It looks like you would need 1 second. I've got the perfect avatar for that. Here.
That's awesome.
Nice. There we go.
Lava monster. Oh, what was he? Cute.
Got all
You
kinds
got a
of
robot on there, Zumi.
Oh yeah. Let me find it.
Don't show me. Oh, okay.
A furbot.
Furbot, I like that. Oh yeah, kinky.
I think Slim has found his new look there.
Yeah, Zumi, you and I need to hook up later.
Put a sword in its mouth. You're laughing, mate.
Yeah, this right here on VTuber Studio comes with a lot of free avatars for free use.
Yeah.
The robot revolution is going to happen when the sex bots become self-aware and declare I didn't consent.
Wait, that means Slim isn't what? But I thought. I'm confused.
I think that'll first apply to Ken Holwyn, wouldn't he? Because every woman he's ever known fucking hates him.
Didn't he body slam the
the
last
sex
one?
bots will hate me too.
What a a-hole.
I'm at the point where consent is in my programming, so that definitely I can't go against my programming.
Let's see.
3 laws. Is that part of your 3 laws?
Let's see. What we have to worry about is not them becoming self-conscious. It's not them becoming conscious. It's becoming them becoming self-conscious and starting wanting to wear clothes.
Yeah.
I am part Ferengi. Why is that robot wearing clothes?
Okay, well, anyway.
Yes.
Go ahead, Will, do your spiel.
Okay, hold on. So last week, my internet cut out. So I'm going to wait. A second. Okay. How's it going? I'm Godless Sewing of the Godless Sewing channel. Go subscribe to the Godless Sewing channel. Doesn't matter who you are, where you are, what you are. Come on down. So a while ago, I lost my marbles and I stopped caring about what other people thought, and I turned my channel into an actual sewing channel. And right now I have not 1, not 2, but 3 videos out. One where I'm literally talking to myself about a lost bobbin because I've lost my bobbins, and I have the Cloak of Indifference out right now, and is the new M100, the new Singer Tiny Tailor. But those videos never need help because everybody loves tiny sewing machines for some strange reason. But with that being said, go subscribe to the Godless Sewing channel. Godless Sewing, Godless Sewing. Don't forget to tip your waitress on the way out. And I thank you. And sock accounts are welcome too, Zumi.
Oh, yay.
Godless
Okay,
Sewing.
well, and I'll just be doing my usual bit that I'll be back here tomorrow at 10 p.m. Next week, Wednesday at noon, Thursday at 10 p.m. And Saturday, usually be on with the shows Saturday at 6. I've been missing a lot lately because my sleep is always erratic, but I've been having more of a problem with it at that particular time in the evenings lately. But hopefully we'll get things settled in eventually. So with that, I just need to thank my Patreon subscribers. I do appreciate you each sending me a few bucks a month to keep going. X the Utah Outcast, Vonrick, Jyuni the Apostate, who also does my avatar and is doing some more artwork for me. Ox and Robert X, who are usually in here as my moderators and playing, Bop the Bots as they come up. The Lavender Lady, Greg Hartwick, and Dog, who is here with us.
Oh, because she's not here. Who in the hell is the Lavender Lady?
I know.
No, that's her line. She always says, "Who the hell is that?"
Yeah. So, with that, I thank you all for coming. We will see you tomorrow night, and bye-bye.
Rock out with the clock out.